8 p.m. Winnipeg Jets face the Florida Panthers. Jets on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 951. Panthers on Internet 931. 8 p.m. St. Louis Blues face the Minnesota Wild. Blues on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 944. Wild on Internet 933. 8:30 p.m. Chicago Blackhawks face the Anaheim Ducks. Blackhawks on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 925. Ducks on Internet 920.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
Six-time Stanley Cup champion and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier stopped by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin to discuss what Game 7 means to him and what it's like to also lose a Game 7.
Well, when you think about the two greatest words in sports, you think about Game 7 for many reasons. Obviously, to get to a Game 7, both teams obviously very evenly matched from the literal sense, the Game 7. You don't have to be a sport fan to understand that something's big at stake and that you will go watch it even if you don't know the teams, you don't know the players, you know the backdrop, because it's the greatest form of reality TV in the world, because there is going to be a winner and a loser. A lot at stake, obviously. But for me personally, it's a lifetime journey to acquire the skill set that's required to be able to perform when the stakes are the highest, under the most scrutinized pressure, when you're expected to perform. And you think about a Game 7 moment or Game 7, that's when you have to perform. It's a winner or go home situation. And what are the skill sets that are required to do that? Obviously, we've practiced our game and honed our skill set for years and years and years, tens of thousands of hours of honing our skills. But emotionally, mentally, what prepares you to play in those moments and perform when you're expected to? That, I think, is what really defines a Game 7 moment for the players that have excelled in Game 7 moments. And what are those life lessons that we can teach our young boys and girls, and the skill sets required to do that? The breathing, it's being able to slow your heart down, and your blood pressure goes up, and your decision-making is rash, and concentration varies because of all of it. What allows you to kind of really slow down and use your God-given talent, and then obviously the repetitions through your whole life that you know you can do it. You just got to be able to do it when it matters most. It's like hitting a home run, and like Aaron Boone did, or doing something special at the right moments. And I think the educational part of the docuseries is really fascinating to me there, to help our young boys and girls who will be faced with big decisions in their life. And you don't have to be a sport fan to have a Game 7 moment in life. Everybody's faced with decisions that are going to alter the trajectory of their lives in one way or another there. And we're trying to figure out what those skill sets are.
What does it feel like to lose a Game 7?
Fortunately for me, I never experienced what the Oilers did last year, of going all the way to the end in a championship game and losing in a Game 7. Anytime you get to a Game 7, it's a hard journey to get there. Two teams, evenly matched. It's been a war. It's been a tug-of-war. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's tired. And then to lose that is devastating. I think about my own experience in Game 7, winning 7 of them. The two still hurt to this day. What could I have done different? You always say that you got to lose in order to understand how to win. I do agree with that. I think there are lessons in loss and in failure, both as a team and as an individual. If I had my preference, I would have liked to have learned those lessons while I was winning. But unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. But I look back at it now and just think about how grateful I am for all the lessons in wins and the losses, because it really ends up defining who you are as a person and as a player.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio, SiriusXM 86.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, November the 19th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Penguins on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 941. Lightning on Internet 945. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators take on the Edmonton Oilers. Senators on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 939. Oilers on Internet 930. 8 p.m. Winnipeg Jets face the Florida Panthers. Jets on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 951. Panthers on Internet 931. 8 p.m. St. Louis Blues face the Minnesota Wild. Blues on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 944. Wild on Internet 933. 8:30 p.m. Chicago Blackhawks face the Anaheim Ducks. Blackhawks on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 925. Ducks on Internet 920. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, November the 19th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Penguins on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 941. Lightning on Internet 945. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators take on the Edmonton Oilers. Senators on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 939. Oilers on Internet 930. 8 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Florida Panthers. Jets on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 951. Panthers on Internet 931. 8 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Minnesota Wild. Blues on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 944. Wild on Internet 933. 8:30 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Anaheim Ducks. Blackhawks on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 925. Ducks on Internet 920.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers, Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on the morning skate for Sirius XM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 to discuss the pressures of Game 7 after having played in 9 Game 7s himself, winning 7 of them, and how you can either thrive under pressure or crumble underneath it.
I must look at Game 7s, Mark, like I do overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs or overtime in any sporting event where you've got so much pressure on you and every play gets magnified. Could you, during the course of your career, and you don't have to name names, but could you look around the dressing room or could you look on the opposing bench and could you figure out those that wanted to be...
You're listening to NHL Play-by-Play on Sirius XM.
Saturday night, the Wild hosted the Stars and took them to the wire. One back for the Wild. Spurgeon, a shot. He scores! Off the draw, Spurgeon with a big blast. It's a flex pass. Oettinger and the Wild have life. As it looks like it was Kaprizov in front to pull the Wild within one. Kaprizov does get credit for his 11th of the year, but that's as close as they get as Marcus Foligno and the Wild fall 2-1 to the Stars.
We stuck to our game. We worked really hard, and Gus was huge, but I mean, coming down the pipe, Andre played pretty good too. So it's tough to lose, but at the same time, I mean, I just think that there's some little takeaways you can take from this game that is positive.
His team fell short, missing some key pieces to the lineup, but tonight, 2 of them returned as the Wild head to St. Louis, looking for a second straight win at Enterprise Center. Coming up, we'll give you a full lineup report. Plus, we catch up with a guy who made history last time the Wild were in St. Louis.
Hey, Wild fans, this is Philip Gustafsson.
He scores! Philip Gustafsson with a goalie goal!
Don't go anywhere. The pregame continues after a quick break. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
There's only one thing better than going to a Minnesota Wild game, and for me, that's breakfast. My breakfast always has to include Thomas's. They've got the crispy, warm nooks and crannies of a Thomas's English muffin, or sometimes I'll go with a crunchy on the outside Thomas's bagel. For me, Thomas's is the best way to start my day, and it should be yours too. With over 130 years of breakfast under their belt, Thomas's is ready to bring your breakfast to another level, because with Thomas's, breakfast tastes better.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank. Because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Yeah, it's great to have them back. I mean, it's. I thought guys did a good job the other night, in their absence, and but they're two key guys that play, real important roles for us. They play a lot of minutes. They play important situations, and it's great to have them back.
John Hines on the return of Jules Eriksson and Jonas Brodin. Both are back tonight to help the Wild in St. Louis. Kevin Fallness from the Bob Kurtz Radio Center. As we get you ready for the Wild and Blues, let's start with a conversation from yesterday with Wild goaltender Philip Gustafsson. He's been a big reason why the Wild have done a 180 this year compared to last, and I asked him if he came in to this season with a bit of a chip on his shoulder after a tough season last year with the Minnesota Wild.
I'm probably always pissed off when we lose a game, and a whole season when it goes like that, you have a few good games and then you have a few games, and you just never can really settle in and have those normal games and just keep building. It's mentally tough, and you hate doing it because you just want to win all the time. And we just went back home in the summer, refocused, relaxed a little bit, and then just went back to work and just went back to what had been working before, and not cheat the game and just let the puck come to you.
The early returns are fantastic. 8-3-2 now on the season. Number 1 in the NHL in goals against average. Tied for first in save percentage. And in 10 games, you've given up 2 or fewer goals. One of those games and one of those wins came in St. Louis a month ago. And, of course, you got the win. That was most important. The Wild went into St. Louis and got the 4-1 victory. But it also came with the franchise's first goalie goal. How often in the last month have you thought about that moment? And the main thing was the win, but that's a pretty cool moment, Gus.
Well, down by Gustafsson. He's going to shoot to the empty net. Philip Gustafsson to the empty net. He scores! Philip Gustafsson with a goalie goal. 8.1 seconds to go. And they mob the Gus bus back in the net. It's 4-1 Wild. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, of course. It was really hot there after the week after it. It popped up a little everywhere on the Instagram and social media stuff and all that stuff, and a lot of friends and people I know that congratulated me, and it's probably a once in a lifetime thing you do, and it was just a perfect moment, perfect dump in, a perfect shot, and I was joking around. I said I'm probably gonna quit after doing that goal. So no, I'm very happy it happened, but team's been playing great too.
Yeah, they have, and it carried into that game, and it has carried on since. And now you go in, and it's the rematch against the Blues coming up Tuesday night in St. Louis. Expectations of that one. I know things didn't go the way you guys wanted to against the Stars. Thought it was a very good game, despite the fact you guys came up short. The record speaks for itself. How do you keep this going now on the road in St. Louis and into Alberta?
Yeah, no, I think even though we lost last game against the Stars, it was. I don't know if it was our 6th loss in a row or something against the Stars, but it felt like we were there. It felt like we had a chance finally. Last year they just ran us over a few times. We were up there fighting it last night, and the momentum didn't stop for us. It felt like even though it was a loss and it's always tough to lose, it felt like we're still right there, and doesn't feel like our momentum slowed down.
Last thing, nice to have a couple of your countrymen back, though, too. The injuries are going to happen throughout the course of the season. It just stinks when they all happen at the exact same time. Now it looks like you get Jules Eriksson back in the lineup, Jonas Brodin back. You can never have enough Swedes in the lineup, right? I'm sure you agree?
No, I hope we can trade for some more so we just have a full Swedish team.
Gus, thank you. Good luck here. Travel safe. We'll talk to you Tuesday night from St. Louis.
Thank you very much.
There you go, goaltender Philip Gustafsson looking for a 5th straight start. You can hear the rest of that interview coming up in the first intermission. Jonas Brodin and Jules Eriksson indeed are both back. Plus, Ben Jones will make his Minnesota Wild debut. He'll jump on the 4th line. While the Wild have won 10 of their last 14, they've lost 9 of their last 12 in St. Louis. Those are your news and notes. Tom Reed is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to SiriusXM. Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of SiriusXM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL Final.
Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit take on Marta and the Orlando Pride.
Join us as we make history on Saturday night at 8 Eastern.
And it's on SiriusXM FC channel 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app. The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to SiriusXM.
Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of SiriusXM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL Final.
That's right, Heather. We'll be taking you through every thrilling moment live from Kansas City.
Join us as we make history at the 2024 NWSL Final on Saturday, November 23rd at 8 Eastern.
And it's on SiriusXM FC channel 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Yeah, I mean, there's two world-class players, so for me, it's fun to play with them. But I think as a team, we just want to win games, and wherever the coach puts me fits best. I think both is good, yeah.
Jules Eriksson returns to the lineup tonight and will jump on the top line with Matt Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov. Can they rekindle the magic? Tom Reed is out there in St. Louis. We know the injury situation on Saturday, Tom, and not only that, with the Wild shorthanded, they were up against a very good Stars team. Go at it without two of your top six forwards, one of your best defensemen, yet the Wild kept it close. What did you take from the 2-1 loss to the Stars?
Just they played well, Kevin. There's no doubt about it. They played so well on that hockey game, and yet couldn't get over the hump on that one. But at the same time, you're going to win some of those games. You're going to lose some of those games. But I thought they really played well. And without those two guys back, without them in the lineup and being back here now, it's going to be a big plus for this team.
No doubt. Still no Matt Zuccarello, but the Wild do get Jules Eriksson and Jonas Brodin back. It looks like John Hines has elected to put Eriksson right on the top line in the middle between Kaprizov and Boldy, and for good reason. How good were those three when they were together at times, even this year, but certainly last year?
Well, they are good. They seem to read off each other also. And you talk about having chemistry with the teammates, and who do you play well with? Some you try and put players together that are going to make something good happen, especially offensively, but also on the defensive part of things. But I think those guys together have done a good job, and I think that John Hines has done a good job of mixing these guys back and forth. And the one thing about John, if you notice, even a lot of the practices, they play with different guys, so you get used to some of the different guys, which is great. And so you get into game situations, you're not worried what's going to happen once you step on the ice with somebody different.
Speaking of different guys, on Saturday, the Wild got Mikey Milne, his NHL debut. Liam Ogren came up from Iowa. Tonight, though, it's Ben Jones' turn to get the call from Iowa. What have you heard about him? And this isn't exactly his NHL debut, is it?
No, you're right, Kevin. You look at down in Iowa. I talked to him a little bit before the game tonight at the hotel, and he was telling me how excited he is to be a part of this. In Iowa, in 14 games, he was number one on the team with 12 points with 4 goals and 8 assists in that stretch. But he's a guy also that last year played with the Calgary Wranglers in the American Hockey League and had a pretty good year down there as well, with 21 goals and 22 assists in that. So he's got some experience. He's had 2 career NHL games. One of them was against the St. Louis Blues.
So he'll get back in the line, or he'll get in the lineup, his first with the Minnesota Wild, and like you said, a couple of games under his belt in the National Hockey League. Wild are getting healthy, but so too are the Blues. They're getting Robert Thomas back in the fold. It's been a bit of a tough start, though, for St. Louis. I look at the standings, Tom, 6th place in the Central. Ouch.
Yeah, that certainly does hurt. And, of course, they've made some changes. But having Robert Thomas back in the lineup, here's a guy now in his 7th year in the NHL. He's got just 6 points this year, one of those being goals. But they missed him. He fractured his ankle, so he missed 12 games with that. They had to repair it, and he says he's good to go. So we'll see how well he is able to perform. But remember, he's been off the ice for a while as far as game conditions. So he'll have a little bit of rust maybe in the first few shifts.
All right, we'll see what happens. That's Tom Reed out there in St. Louis. We'll take a break, and then when we continue, we'll get you the starting goaltenders and a further look at tonight's lineup report. It's the Wild and Blues in St. Louis. This is Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
to some best.
Be inspired by Joel and Victoria Osteen.
Best opportunity, best relationship, best health.
Hear motivational messages whenever you need them.
The best part of your life is not behind you. The best part of your life is the next part of your life.
Be inspired 24/7.
You haven't seen, heard, or imagined what God has in store.
On Joel Osteen Radio, Sirius XM 128, and on the Sirius XM app.
The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to Sirius XM. Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of Sirius XM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL final. That's right, Heather. We'll be taking you through every thrilling moment live from Kansas City. Join us as we make history at the 2024 NWSL final on Saturday, November 23rd at 8 Eastern. And it's on Sirius XM FC channel 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Ben Jones, center, Waterloo, Ontario.
Ben Jones, who scores right off the hop. Ben Jones takes the lead.
It's kind of what I've been building down in Iowa. I mean, I think, I feel like I had a pretty good preseason, so they kind of knew about me going into the year, and then, just building on what, like I said, like I've been doing down in Iowa.
Good two-way player. I think he's got good hockey sense. He has good attention to detail. You can tell he's an experienced guy in the pro game, and I think his ability to add, to be able to score and produce, his track record as a player has shown that, and he's playing, coming off two really good games in Iowa as well.
That's part of the lineup report. Ben Jones ready for his Minnesota Wild debut. Let's get the starting goaltenders presented by Progressive. For that, we go out to Tom Reed. That Gus bus has been rolling right along. Tom, Marc-Andre Fleury can't find a time in there because the Gus has been so hot.
Yeah, I think he enjoys himself. No question about it. That all of a sudden now Gus has really stepped in the limelight here, and it's great that he's be able to do that. You look at his record right now in 13 games. He's gone 8-3-2. He's number one in the NHL at 2.08 goals against average. Also, he's tied for number one in the save percentage, 92.7. One thing to remember, Kevin, also that he's tied for third place as far as power play goals go for the Minnesota Wild this year.
That's a good point.
That empty net was a power play goal. So.
You're right, and it happened there at Enterprise Center. Maybe he's got another one up his sleeve tonight. Who's going for the Blues?
Well, tonight we're going to get once again the guy who's been here for a long time now, 8th year now, age 31, Jordan Binnington is going to get the call. He won't have a chance to get the Fleury. Fleury's going to be on the bench, so there won't be any shenanigans going on there. But against Minnesota, a pretty good record in the 17 games he's played. He's gone 10-5-1 with 2.72 goals against average and a save percentage of almost 91% with one shutout in that stretch. And he's got 150 career wins now in his NHL career.
All right, there you go. Tom Reed out there in St. Louis. Gustafson versus Binnington. The starting goaltenders are presented by the annual Progressive Keys to Progress program, providing vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com. The lineup report has Jules Eriksson and Jonas Brodin back, and it's Ben Jones ready to make his Minnesota Wild debut. Wild and Blues from St. Louis. Joe O'Donnell is next. This is Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to Sirius XM. Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of Sirius XM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL final.
Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit take on Marta and the Orlando Pride.
Join us as we make history on Saturday night at 8 Eastern.
And it's on Sirius XM FC channel 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Back to Rick.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The following is an exclusive presentation of the National Hockey League and the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
Good evening, State of Hockey and friends, and welcome to Enterprise Center here in St. Louis, Missouri, where tonight the Wild are back on the road as they kick off a 3-game road trip by taking on the St. Louis Blues. Glad to have you along. Welcome aboard, friends. Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed here with you. And for Minnesota, Tom, their road success has been at the top of the reasons why they're off to such a great start this season. 7-1-2 on the road. Have you figured out why the Wild are so good on the road this year?
You know, I haven't figured it out, but I don't want to figure it out. Let them figure it out. That's the most important thing. But when you look at the record right now, 25 points on the year for Minnesota in the 17 games. Last year, Joe, this time they have 14 points. That's a huge difference. Remember last year we talked about how difficult it is when you get in that hole, especially early on. It's hard to get out of it, and they never got out of it. This year they're way on top of it right now, so they feel pretty good about their play and how they've conducted themselves. Now, this is going to be another story, of course, with the St. Louis Blues. Always been a good rivalry. We'll see how this plays out.
The Wild are 11-3-3 on the year. Saturday they lost to Dallas by a score of 2-1. Their second regulation home loss of the season. Kirill Kaprizov, the only goal for Minnesota. They were outshot 40-23. The Blues coming off a back-to-back. They played Saturday in Boston, Sunday in Carolina. Sunday they lost 4-1 on the road against the Hurricanes. They finished 1-1-1 on their trip. 8-10-1 on the season of the Blues. And on Sunday, after getting the first goal, they gave up 4 unanswered. They won just 37% of the faceoffs in that hockey game. Probably a big reason why Carolina was able to take down the Blues the other night. But Robert Thomas is back for St. Louis, Tom. If they're going to get it going, they better get it going soon. And against a division rival like the Wild, I'm sure they'll be ready tonight.
Yeah, and that's a big plus for them, having him back in the lineup. He gives a little more offensive ability to this hockey club, but there's going to be some rust there also. He's missed about 12 games because of the fractured ankle, but they said he's good to go, so we'll see what happens tonight.
Puck drop next from St. Louis. It's the Wild and the Blues' second meeting of the season series. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
There's a popular swimming pool game named after 13th century Italian explorer Marco Polo. But what happens when the water freezes? May we suggest a new game named after 21st century Austrian forward Marco Rossi? Marco, go low.
Scores! Marco Rossi!
Not weird. Wild.
With Wild season tickets, you don't just secure a seat. Unlock exclusive access, personalized service, and more. Become a season ticket member today at wild.com/answer the call.
You have a job and a paycheck. Sure, that usually works for keeping your finances on track. But there are times when having access to the money you've already worked for can be a game changer. In between times are the ones that can make a big difference in your life. In comes Daily Pay. With Daily Pay, you can access your earned wages when you want them. Because your hard work happens on the daily, you should be able to reap your rewards on the daily. Find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies.
He scores!
At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Lock it in and turn it up. Wild Hockey starts now. Wild Hockey on your radio is presented in part by
Toyota, official vehicle of the Minnesota Wild. Anderson Windows and Doors. Love the life you see. Your Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers, doing whatever it takes since 1904.
Nothing's gonna stop us now. We own the night.
faceoff. Down low, Zuccarello cut out with a backhanded try, and he scores!
It's time for wild hockey.
Catalyst Supply Co. Building materials and install support. Boost your build. Excel Energy. Proudly powering the great state of hockey with safe, clean, and reliable energy.
And they score! Right off the draw, Kaprizov.
And now, with all the action, here's Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell.
Enterprise Center, St. Louis, Missouri. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed, the Wild and the Blues. Minnesota won a 4-1 decision in this bar just over a month ago. They scored early. Special teams were a big difference. Philip Gustafson was outstanding, and oh yeah, he scored a goal just for the heck of it. TR, what are you looking for early tonight in the rematch?
And he did it on the power play also. Remember that? That to me is really one of the things. But these two teams, Joe, have met 97 times. Minnesota's record is 42, 34, and 21. And here in St. Louis, Minnesota's record in the 48 games, 16, 20, and 12. But right now, they don't care about what the record is. They want to just add to the record, getting a win tonight.
We see the line reunited that was so good late last season. Eriksson, Kaprizov, and Boldy for Minnesota. They start Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the opening period tonight, wearing their white jerseys. Blues from left to right in the first, wearing their blue sweaters. As Gustafson fights off a chance with Thomas right off the hop. Now Cairo wrister, and Gustafson equal to that with his left pad, and Minnesota safely through center. Opening half minute expired now as Jordan Cairo tries to gallop ahead. Matt Boldy takes the puck away from Minnesota. Spikes it off the right wing boards, and Eriksson to dribble it a bit further. Robert Thomas back. They'll roll it along. Ryan Suter now for St. Louis.
best. Be inspired by
shot there going to the net rather than trying to make the pass. There's a stick in the way. The chance there might get a piece of it. But Minnesota, a good opportunity. But no cigar in that one. Shots right now are 7 apiece.
3:59 left in the first. When we come back to St. Louis, the Wild have the game's only goal. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with a new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
Hey, Minnesota Wild fans, fuel up for game day with Just Bear Chicken, the official chicken of the Wild. At Just Bear Chicken, we believe the best meals start with the best ingredients. That is why all our chickens are raised with no antibiotics ever, so you can enjoy delicious and nutritious chicken with confidence. Find Just Bear Chicken in the fresh or frozen aisle at your local grocery store today. And let's go wild.
So far, his 4th goal of the season. Rosser picks up his 10th assist. That goal comes at 12:24. 1-0 Minnesota. Face-off deep in the St. Louis zone. To the left of Jordan Binnington, who gets the call once again against the Wild.
That first period goal by Hartman a few minutes back. The first period goal for the Wild over their last 4 games. In fact, goal scoring has dried up a bit from Minnesota. A win, a loss, and an overtime defeat in their last 3. So 1-1-1, scoring 1, 3, and 1 goals respectively. So nice to see the offense, at least in the first, get something going, put a little bit more pressure on St. Louis. Icing here on the Blues. We're down to 3:50 to go in the first.
Yeah, and having Brodin back in that defensive position really helps move the puck out of the zone, get more offense going. And of course, you got Jules Eriksson back in the lineup as well, and that's another positive thing for Minnesota when it comes to securing points in this league.
The Wild now up to the second, a +7 in the goal differential category in first period play, near the top of the league in first period goal differential. Here's Braden Shen off the rush with a left circle chance, blocked to the corner by Spurgeon. Shen to his own rebound, tossed it in front. Spurgeon a good stick, able to tip out the center. Ryan Suter to Colton Parayko, and then up for Shen, who lobs it in. Brodin gobbles it up, feeds Spurgeon, who had mans for Ross in on side right wing boards. Good cross-ice pass. Johansson a quick shot, and that hit Parayko and found the net.
Good release by Johansson. Also good move in Minnesota coming out of their own defensive zone. They're coming out as a group and making those long passes, quick passes too, tape to tape.
Yeah, I was going to say that there seems to be room in the neutral zone, like from the Wild's blue line or their slot up ice. They've had a couple of breakouts or transition plays through the neutral zone, Tom, where there's been room when the forward gets the puck to attack with speed.
Yeah, we talk about the area between the two blue lines, getting that speed up and going into the offensive zone. But Minnesota's done a nice job of securing the puck and moving the puck up through that blue paint, or those 2 areas of the blue line, and getting something going offensively at the other end.
There's Dylan Holloway for St. Louis. A couple weeks back, had a puck hit him in the throat. He had to leave the game and go to the hospital, and he was back the next game. Walker save here, maybe off the shaft of the stick of Gustafsson on a long bid that he's able to tip away.
You always remember those shots coming to the net, and very few guys are wearing their neck guard, which they should, because they have materials that cannot be cut with an escape blade. We've seen that before. I think there's 55 guys now in the NHL out of like 730 that have played this year that have worn the net guard.
Yeah, one of them is Jakub Lauko of the Wild that you can see very visibly. He's got the cut-proof neck guard.
Yeah.
Holloway and Philip Broberg, those 2 players signed the offer sheets by Blues GM Doug Armstrong in the summer. Kind of shook up the hockey world. There hadn't been an offer sheet signed in a couple of years. A couple of young players from Edmonton. Kyrou just had a bouncing puck skip over his tape. Kaprizov will get it out to center ice and then feed Jake Middleton. And speaking of Broberg, he's one of 3 Blues on the IR. Same with Nick Leddy, the former Wild draft pick. And then, of course, Torrey Krug, who will not play at all this season. So 3 defensemen, Krug, Leddy, and Broberg on the IR for St. Louis. Robert Thomas came off the injured reserve today.
Yeah, that one with Krug, though, he has that ankle surgery. He's going to keep him out the entire year. That seems almost impossible, but they know what they're talking about. Now the question is, if they get in the playoffs, can he be back for playoff time?
Middleton pins one up deep in his own end. Just over 2 minutes left. Blues steal. They feed it back to the point. Suter hands it along. Parayko, a shot. That's in the belly of Gustafson. Good job there by the Wild to box out. That was something John Hines talked about this morning. St. Louis really good at screens in front of the opposing goaltender.
Yeah, they are, but Minnesota did a good job of pushing everyone to the right of the goaltender so that Gus could see that shot coming from a far out and able to make the save on that one. We got 2:01 to go here in period number 1. Minnesota with 7 shots, 9 on the other side, but Minnesota has the only goal with Hartman, his 4th of the season. Just trickling in. As I say, any shot from that is a good shot, and any shot from that can possibly go in.
Blues have not been a heavy shot volume team this year. As Brodin takes over off the defensive zone faceoff. St. Louis, 3rd to last in the league in shots per game coming in. Icing here on Minnesota Holt's play, with 1:49 to go in the opening period.
Well, celebrate the No Shave November with us on November 30th with the Movember Ticket Pack presented by Security Financial. The package includes an exclusive soda stick beanie and an on-ice photo with Jake Middleton. He's the king of the mustache. He's the captain of Movember. Buy tickets today at wild.com/mustache.
Face off to the right of Gustafson, who has stopped 9 shots so far. Wild in front 1-0, late stages, period 1. Husnudinov on the tie-up, and the Wild come up with the puck. Murat Husnudinov, I'd say somewhat underrated in the face-off circle, Tom. He won 5 of 6 Saturday against the Stars. Puck here ends up in the stands.
Boy, this may be a delay of game.
I think Brodin's going to get nailed for delay of game.
Yeah.
Minnesota penalty number 25. 2-minute minor for delay of game. Puck over the glass.
Well, he goes to the box. First power play to Minnesota defensively, where the Blues will get the man advantage here. This penalty coming at 18 minutes and 20 seconds of the first period.
Blues had just 1 power play in Carolina on Sunday. They came up empty. They're 29th in the league at 13.6%. Just 2 power play goals over their last 9 games.
Yeah, this has been a good area for Minnesota as of late. We always harp on how bad the penalty killing was, but boy, they've really picked up their pace with this one.
To Tom's point, last 5 games for the Wild, 16 out of 16 on the kill. Justin Falk off the 1 draw, skates across the blue line, feathers one to Robert Thomas. And now Buchnevich right circle. Buchnevich controlling, trying to center, hurried, shot by Kyrou, whistled wide. Jake Neighbors to the carom. He's bumped back of the net. Muscled it to the point, though, for Thomas. He speeds it to the left side. We're dancing down in the offensive zone is Falk. Back up to Thomas. Now Buchnevich right circle. Fakes the return feed to Thomas. Handles the puck some more. Then fed Thomas off on the left side. Falk a drive. Missiled it high and wide. Catches the glass and bounces all the way back through center.
Yeah, Falk was known as a power play specialist at one point. I'm not sure he's got that many power play goals as of late, but 1 year, I think his first 12 goals of the season were all in power play.
Middleton steals. Sorry, Tom. Middleton steals left side. Clears down for the Wild. Final minute of the first. The buck 12 left on the minor to Brodin. Robert Thomas back in the Blues lineup. Quarterbacking the power play. Falk moves to sort of the flank position. So Thomas, the forward, one of 4 forwards out here in the top unit for St. Louis, will work the blue line. Jordan Kyrou carries in. Always been a Wild killer. 21 points in 20 games for Kyrou against Minnesota in his career. Neighbors into the corner for Kyrou left side. Up top to Falk. Center point now Robert Thomas. Watched by Husnudinov. A hurried shot with wide. Buchnevich off the end wall. Gave it a drive. Blocked by Spurgeon. Maybe saved one there. Thomas now across. A shot by Falk at the outside of the post. Falk back on it. Center point Thomas. 15 to go in the period. Right side Buchnevich centered. And Faber broke it up as Kyrou was in the slot. Wild chisel it free. And Faber off the right wing boards pounds it down the ice.
Yeah, good play by Faber. Just get to the puck, get it down the ice, get off the ice, and this will wind down and finish up the first period.
Runovich just slowly comes ahead as the horn sounds. So the Wild We'll start the second period with 20 seconds left on the first power play of the game for St. Louis. But after one period from Enterprise Center, Ryan Hartman with his fourth of the year, and the Wild a 1-0 lead. We'll take a break. Hope to have a player interview for you here from St. Louis momentarily, plus some more of Kevin Fulness' conversation with Wild goaltender Philip Gustafson. All that and a lot more coming your way after this. After 20 in St. Louis, the Wild won, the Blues nothing. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to SiriusXM.
Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of SiriusXM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL final.
Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit take on Marta and the Orlando Pride.
Join us as we make history on Saturday night at 8 Eastern.
And it's on SiriusXM FC channel 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite SiriusXM FC shows on the all-new SiriusXM app, now available for all subscribers.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on SiriusXM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on demand with the SiriusXM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
Kevin Cheveldayoff, Winnipeg Jets. What the heck's with this Kyle Connor? I'm curious what you saw and how it's evolved.
His offensive instincts, really just top end. It's just been one of those guys that, play me with this guy, okay. Play me with that guy, okay. In these last couple of years, he's learned to have the layer of the defensive structure as well. That's just made him a much more complete player.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. Under review.
And nobody in Winnipeg wants to say it, but I'll say it. Connor Hellebuck did not play the level he's capable of in the playoffs. That's a big part of the equation. Connor can play better. He's one of the best goalies in the league. The Jets have been told by everybody but me, I want that noted, I got this one right, that everyone said they're going to take a step back.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Tampa Bay Lightning General Manager Julian Brisebois.
Can you tell us something about Nikita Kucherov, the player, the person?
He puts so much time working at his craft. He is looking to improve every little detail of his game, of his skill set. He gets rewarded by being an all-time great player, and we get rewarded by having one of the best players in the world on our team every night.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Contractors and builders.
First goal of the night goes to your Minnesota Wild. Ryan Hartman from Marco Rossi, 12:24 into the contest. They take the 1-0 lead, and that's where we sit after 20 minutes of play. Coming up, we'll get you out to Enterprise Center. Tom Reed is going to check in with tonight's first period goal scorer. But first, let's check in with a guy that made 9 first period saves. How good has the Gus Bus been? Not only tonight, but all season long. He's completely made himself back into that guy that we remember from not all that long ago. Last season, a down year for everyone, including the guys between the pipes. But he looks like a new guy. I had a chance to check in with the Gus Bus yesterday before the team left for St. Louis.
The Gus Bus is in prime form this year, Gus. How you feeling here? We're closing in on a quarter way into the season. What a start for the team and for you personally. How much fun are you having right now?
And a breakaway pass for Duchesne. Duchesne's got some room in on Gustafson. And Gustafson made the left arm save on the wrister by Matt Duchesne.
No, we're having a lot of fun. Both practice, outside the rink, and at games, obviously, we're just buzzing out there right now. And, it's fun coming into the rink. And it seems like we have started to trust each other that people are going to do their job, so you can just focus on your job, and it's been working so far.
Think to 12 months ago, this exact time 12 months ago. That wasn't a lot of fun. What has changed so much for the team in general and the guys in front of you, and then for yourself in particular? Why is such a stark difference?
No, I think we just... Well, we had a tough start, just. I don't know, PK wasn't working well, goals started letting in, and it was just starting to free fall a little bit there, and you come, we got another PK, it's going to be another goal, and you just couldn't really get that feeling that you were going to kill the PK or win some games. And this year we just had the preseason, listened to all the strategic stuff, and we just really dug in and been out there trusting each other that you're going to do it, and it's been working.
I'm going to ask you a question here, and I mean no offense. When you came into this season, did you have a chip on your shoulder? Were you, for lack of a better word, pissed off at how the season went last year for the team and for yourself in general? Because you look like mentally you've transformed yourself to that same guy we saw at the end of the season 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I'm probably always pissed off when we lose a game, and a whole season when it goes like that, you have a few good games, and then you have a few games, and you just never can really settle in and have those normal games and just keep building. It's mentally tough, and you hate doing it because you just want to win all the time. And we just went back home in the summer, refocused, relaxed a little bit, and then just went back to work and just went back to what had been working before, and not cheat the game and just let the puck come to you.
The early returns are fantastic. 8-3-2 now on the season. Number 1 in the NHL in goals against average. Tied for first in save percentage. And in 10 games, you've given up 2 or fewer goals. One of those games and one of those wins came in St. Louis a month ago. And, of course, you got the win. That was most important. The Wild went into St. Louis and got the 4-1 victory. But it also came with the franchise's first goalie goal. How often in the last month have you thought about that moment? And the main thing was the win, but that's a pretty cool moment, Gus.
Navich loads, rockets one in, glove down by Gustafsson. He's going to shoot to the empty net. Philip Gustafsson to the empty net. He scores! Philip Gustafsson with a goalie goal. 8.1 seconds to go, and they mob the Gus bus back in the net. It's 4-1 Wild.
Oh my goodness! Look at the smiles on their faces. Get that puck.
He's going to go down the line, Tom Reed.
And he should. He's going right in front of the bench. They're all high-fiving him, but
I think 15,000 or so left the building.
I think that might be a highlight reel.
Yeah, of course. It was really hot there after the week after it. It popped up a little everywhere on the Instagram and social media stuff and all that stuff, and a lot of friends and people I know that congratulated me, and it's probably a once in a lifetime thing you do, and it was just a perfect moment, perfect dump in and perfect shot, and I was joking around. I said I'm probably going to quit after doing that goal. So no, I mean I'm very happy it happened, but team's been playing great too.
Yeah, they have, and it carried into that game, and it has carried on since. And now you go in, and it's the rematch against the Blues coming up Tuesday night in St. Louis. Expectations of that one. I know things didn't go the way you guys wanted to against the Stars. Thought it was a very good game, despite the fact you guys came up short. The record speaks for itself. How do you keep this going now on the road in St. Louis and into Alberta?
Yeah, no, I think even though we lost last game against the Stars, it was, I don't know if it was our 6th loss in a row or something against the Stars, but it felt like we were there. It felt like we had a chance finally. Last year we just ran us over a few times. We were up there fighting it last night, and the momentum didn't stop for us. It felt like even though it was a loss, and it's always tough to lose, it felt like we're still right there, and doesn't feel like our momentum slowed down.
Last thing, nice to have a couple of your countrymen back, though, too. The injuries are going to happen throughout the course of the season. It just stinks when they all happen at the exact same time. Now it looks like you get Jules Eriksson back in the lineup, and Jonas Brodin back. You can never have enough Swedes in the lineup, right? I'm sure you agree?
No, I hope we can trade for some more so we just have a full Swedish team.
Gus, thank you. Good luck here. Travel safe. We'll talk to you Tuesday night from St. Louis.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, buddy. There you go, Philip Gustafson before the team left for St. Louis yesterday in St. Paul. Philip Gustafson, gaudy stats through this part of the season, playing very well in that first period as well. As I said, 9 first-period saves compared to 6 for Jordan Binnington. Wild lead the Blues 1-0 after 1 period of play. The guy that scored the go-ahead goal and the first goal of the contest, Ryan Hartman. He's with Tom Reed now at Enterprise Center.
Well, at the end of the first period, Minnesota's taken the lead, and a goal by Ryan Hartman, who's downstairs right now, and a big goal for Minnesota. Always getting that first one is so important.
Yeah, I think we're a pretty confident team when we're playing with the lead. Obviously, playing with the lead, we don't want to change our game at all, but we want to extend our lead in the second. But I think we're playing a pretty solid game overall.
Yeah, how important is it getting guys like Joe, Eric, and Nick back in the lineup, along with, of course, Brodin? Those two guys have a lot of experience.
Yeah, they do about everything. Ecker's on both special teams, and he usually plays the most minutes out of all the forwards, and he matches up well against the top lines. And obviously Broad's same thing. He shuts down their best players, and he's so steady and so hard to play against. Obviously, when he's not in the lineup, we miss both guys.
Yeah, last question also to you. You look at Rossi, nice play on his part to get the puck over you, and it was one of those shots that eluded the goaltender. It was not a hard shot, but it was an accurate shot.
Yeah, I kind of beat my defenseman with a kind of a bobbly puck, and try not to pass up an opportunity to shoot, and they're going to go in sometimes.
Craig, thanks. Brian, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it. Ryan Hartman, I guess here. Kevin, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Tom, for joining us in the intermission. Ryan Hartman will get a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. How about that, Ryan Hartman? 2nd goal in November, 4th of the season, and 2nd in 2 games against the St. Louis Blues. Gives the Wild the 1-0 lead. That's where we sit after 1 period of play at Enterprise Center. We'll take a break, and then we'll give you a full recap of that first period. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO. At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
As the official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Official partner of the Minnesota Wild, Enterprise is ready to go that extra mile. We're dedicated to the most dedicated fans in the game. And with us on your team, you can move forward with confidence, knowing we've got your back. We're always available with mobility solutions, whether you need a rental, replacement, truck, or even tailored business strategies. At Enterprise, your goal is our goal, and we're ready with the assist.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day, we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care, like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
Standing 6'2" and weighing in at over 200 pounds, Wild forward Yakov Trenyan is known for playing a heavy game and going to the dirty areas. There is nothing soft about Yakov Trenyan. Nothing. No, seriously, I'm actually a little afraid of him.
Hey, Wild fans, this is Yakov Trenyan.
Not weird. Wild.
'Tis the hockey season. Celebrate the holidays and enjoy a Wild game with friends and family in a private suite. Learn more at wild.com/comfort.
There's only one thing better than going to a Minnesota Wild game, and for me, that's breakfast. My breakfast always has to include Thomas's. They've got the crispy, warm nooks and crannies of a Thomas's English muffin, or sometimes I'll go with a crunchy on the outside Thomas's bagel. For me, Thomas's is the best way to start my day, and it should be yours too. With over 130 years of breakfast under their belt, Thomas's is ready to bring your breakfast to another level, because with Thomas's, breakfast tastes better.
Join us each night for Tom Reed's Hotline. Simply text in your comment or question at 64686. That's 64686. One lucky fan will win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or a pair of tickets to an upcoming Wild game. You can't win if you don't send in your question. So text Tom right now at 64686 and listen to tonight's Hotline.
Second period from St. Louis. Minnesota starts shorthanded for another 20 seconds. Wild from left to right on your radio dial. In period number 2, Blues from right to left. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. The Wild leading 1-0. Hawk lasers it in from center. Buchnevich taps back to the point. Perunovic feeds it right side. Justin Falk is shot. Blocked out in front by Jake Middleton, who just ties it up along his end wall. Buchnevich centered, and Cairo with a good chance from outside the goal crease. Somehow that stayed out.
Yeah, St. Louis had a good start in that first period. Same way here in the second period. We're seeing a little more jump out of their step.
Here's Trenyan trying to center. Johansson a little flipping backhander as he went skate to stick blade, and Binnington fought that off.
Yeah, nice play by Bold. They get the puck over to Johansson, who tried that little flip shot. Didn't quite work the way he wanted.
Wild are back to full strength. 50 seconds now gone by in the second period as Marco Rossi attacks for Minnesota. Fights past a bit of pressure. Looks for some help now. And then eventually curls one down for Marcus Johansson. Tried to feed a backhanded centering pass that was batted around. Falk off the glass past Declan Chisholm. They wave off icing as they say Chisholm got a piece of that puck. Chisholm has to scurry back for it with Brandon Saad bearing in. Chisholm one-handing it ahead Johansson. Fires it rink wide. Hartman in onside. A little stop-and-go move against Parayko. Hartman threw under the back post. Rossi grabbed it from the goal line. Curled it back up top with Elena's Faber. A shot off the goal post. Came right back to Faber down low for a bid. And Hartman can't believe he missed it tight. He rifled it wide.
Yeah, he thought he had one for sure. He had the wide open air, but couldn't put it in. Minnesota doing a good job of coming back after the first 30 seconds, a little bit sluggish.
Faber back-to-back games, finding the iron unkind. He was almost the game-tying goal scorer against Dallas on Saturday in a third period in which John Hines said his team was really the better team, and he absolutely loved the third period effort. That 2-1 setback against the Stars. Here is Kaprizov to Brodin for a drive, and that hit Boldy and just went over the crossbar. Spurgeon found the rebound, jammed one in front, and the Wild poking away. The puck's in the net, but the whistle sounds, and they wave it off as Binnington was basically pushed in by some pitchforking sticks there
from Minnesota. Well, trying to get that puck over the line. That didn't quite work out the way they wanted. But good start by Minnesota. A little bit sluggish start once again here in the second period. But after about 30 seconds or so, they have really picked it up. But just able to get that puck to the front. That shot coming off the pipe, also the shot by Faber. Good hard shot. Bennington was looking all over the place. I had no idea where it was. And finally, the last play, that puck was over the line before the whistle went. Minnesota's not arguing. There's no challenge from the Minnesota bench. So that'll keep the face-off deep in the St. Louis zone to the left of Bennington.
Bennington, as Tom said earlier, 150 career wins. One off Mike Liut's St. Louis Blues record. Icing here on St. Louis is waved off. As Walker got there ahead of Spurgeon, they say. Foligno forced to block a shot then from Kessel. The Wild can't get it out, at least not initially. Puck rolls around the dasher, left side Kaprizov, uses the ice beneath him to cut deeper in his own zone, then feeds Spurgeon, whose pass back of his own net connects with Jonas Brodin. Brodin swoops it back, Spurgeon, headmans, Kaprizov tips it free. Foligno, curling right side, Marcus Foligno, lofting one to the left point, Spurgeon. Into the corner left wing side for Brodin. Swerved it around the Blues net. Kaprizov able to grab it. He'll toss it up top for Faber. Faber right back to Kaprizov. Outside the right circle with a long shot that missiled wide. Faber able to gallop to it. Spiked it into the corner where Foligno and Kessel come together. Kaprizov able to charge to it after Foligno tied his man up. But Kaprizov's centering pass stolen away. And the Blues have it for at least a moment with Toropchenko. Bottled up by the Wild pressure. It's Kaprizov looking for Husnudinov. Back to Kaprizov. A left point pass. Faber handled it well. Guides it back to Kaprizov. Sent one in front. And it leaks just wide. 3:20 gone by in period 2. Wild still in front 1-0 in St. Louis as Trenyon pressures. Now Husnudinov. Boy, another good shift, Tom, in the offensive zone with the forecheck really buzzing.
Yeah, it really has. Minnesota's really moving their legs right now.
Husnudinov back of the net. Off a cycle play by Trenyon. Husnudinov feeds the point. Faber a shot. That glance just wide. Grabbing it Middleton as he attacks. Boy, it seems like the Wild are just reading some of these plays and their defense aggressively going after either missed shots or blocked shots that end up in the corner.
Yeah, I was looking to see if they had a power play. Figure out why the Blues have done very little in their defensive zone.
Schoenemann headmans. Onside Texier. Left circle shot blocker save Gustafsson. And he deflects it into the netting.
Well, you look at these two teams. Minnesota, of course, scoring that first goal. When they lead after one period, Minnesota's record is 7-0-1. And you look at the Blues, when they trail after the first period, their record is 4-5-1. So they've won 4 but lost 6. And right now the faceoff is going to be deep in the Minnesota zone. 4 minutes and 3 seconds gone here in period number 2. Still 1-0 lead. And they added an assist to Brock Faber on that first goal, as you called it, Joe, before, thinking he might get one, and he does get the assist on that goal. Big plus for him.
Hartman and Zach Bolduc on the draw. 30-year-old Ryan Hartman looking to muscle this one back. He does. Bogosian tips along for Chisholm. Declan Chisholm left side. Feeds Johansson. He'll cruise it ahead. Bolduc stole it and plays it back for Justin Falk. Launches a pass up for Kyrou. Bogosian was there to stop his dump-in attempt. Johansson at center bumps Kyrou. The Blues take over again, though. Falk skates to his right, finds Dylan Holloway. Holloway taps in. Bogosian's there first for Minnesota. Left wing corner to Chisholm and trickled ahead where eventually Hartman at center ice. Fed one looking for Rossi. Rossi darts over the blue line right side. Bounced it back. Bogosian a shot. That rifled wide past the far post. Chisholm holds it. Sprung it in the corner, but Falk cut it off. Center breakout pass for Holloway, and then Bolduc to Kyrou. Weak side D. Perunovic has a lead, and he scores. Second career NHL goal for Scott Perunovic, as he was the trailer coming late. He rifled it under the crossbar. It's 1-1.
Yeah, the youngster out of Hibbing, Minnesota, makes a worker. Not a big guy, 5'10", 175, but boy, that puck was labeled. He took a nice wrist shot right to the net, finds the opening. That ties up the game at 1 apiece. He was the Hobey Baker winner back in 2020. In that year, he had 34 games. He had 40 points in that year, but he makes this one count for his team right now to tie up the game. This goal coming at a very good question, because all the lights don't show the time at all. Now it's up there. It comes at 4 minutes, 48 seconds. of the second period.
And already juggling of the lines move by Drew Bannister, who took over last year for Craig Berube, named the full-time Blues head coach in May. Here's the call.
Perunovic! Assisted by number 25, Jordan Kyrou. And by number 76, Zach Bolduc.
So Kyrou now on assist in back-to-back games, points in 8 of his last 9. Team leader in points and shots on goal coming in for the Toronto native, Jordan Kyrou. But he started the game with Thomas and Buchnevich as Boldy carries in left side for the Wild. His wrist shot knocked away by Binnington. And to start this second period, some line juggling from Drew Bannister. As that time it was Kyrou out there with Bolduc and Holloway. And we see now Braden Shen playing alongside Buchnevich and Neighbors. Blue Sky it ahead. Back in his own zone is Spurgeon, but a whistle here halting play. I believe St. Louis was in early on that skied puck from deep in their zone.
Yeah, Minnesota was in good control in that second period also. You give the break, one break to the St. Louis Blues, and make no mistake, he comes in and you can see players all trying to get in front of the netminder. I don't think that, I think Gus saw it okay, just it was a good shot off the stick of Perunovic, and it gives his team a tie right now, 1-1. We have 14:32 to go here in period number 2. Face off deep in the St. Louis zone to the right of Binnington.
Off the face-off. They actually called that icing on St. Louis, and the Blues work this defensive zone draw ahead. Brandon Saad tosses it deep. Middleton around a Goudreau. Left wing pass Marcus Foligno. Tried to go rink wide, stolen by Kyrou, but he was out at center ice. His pass rattled off a body. And now a bouncing puck near the offensive blue line for Minnesota is taken back by Braden Shen. Shen had 900 career games this season ago as he saunters into the Wild zone here. Left circle, wrister, blocked by Middleton. Goudreau to Trenyon. His pass through the Wild slot, helped ahead by Faber. Back to grab it, Matthew Kessel for St. Louis. And the NCAA championship in 2021 with UMass. Kessel here, out of his own slot with the Wild changing. It is the Blues to come ahead. Kessel launches it deep. Middleton grabbed it, left wing corner. Scooped it free, Husnadinov. Curled away from some pressure that came from Nathan Walker. Husnadinov tied it up long enough where eventually Faber could locate it. Right wing breakout for the Wild, slowed down here by the Blues pressure. They go back behind their net again where Walker really hit Middleton hard. Middleton saw that late, couldn't really protect himself well. He's a bit gimpy as he goes to the Wild bench. Husnadinov.
He got the number.
Husnadinov trying to center as he transitioned ahead, and the Blues take it away. Middleton, a little pat on the back from Jared Spurgeon there as he's grimacing on the Wild bench. Minnesota dumps one in. Falk to reverse it. Perunovic tap free. Toropchenko lofts it back off his end wall. Husnadinov pressures. Falk just clears it safely ahead and out through center. Now the Blues try to change. Wild do the same again. Declan Chisholm back for the Wild. He'll carry ahead and then feed Zach Bogosian. Bogosian gains the red line and powers it in. Binnington with his goal stick to Ryan Suter. Smacked it up the boards. Bogosian held in. Thomas then forced the issue out to center. Buchnevich with a rink-wide feed. Kyrou taps along. And now on this sequence, it appears Kyrou is back with Thomas and Buchnevich as the Blues steal. And they center a good wrister by Robert Thomas, fought off by the blocker of Gustafson from point-blank range.
Yeah, that was a good way that Bogosian in his own defensive zone led to that opportunity for the Blues.
Parayko carries around the Wild net, fitting up top to Suter. Dangerous pass. Kyrou ran into some trouble. And the Wild chipping along. It's Rossi, hoping for Hartman near the offensive stripe. Suter came back to recover, and he'll smash it off his end glass. It'll leak through center where Spurgeon and Buchnevich battle. Buchnevich came up with the puck, and now Robert Thomas. Watched carefully by Brodin. Thomas spins up, found the late help coming. A quick wrister, stopped by Gustafson. The rebound jabbed away from trouble by Spurgeon. Kept it at the point, though, by Falk, who labels it back into the Wild zone. Hartman cruising it ahead. Johansson steers it safely through center. Seems like that goal has ignited the Blues a bit, Tom.
Yeah, it certainly will, especially in your home rink. You have a good goal like that, you're behind 1-0. You come into the second period, and all of a sudden you get that goal, and all of a sudden the energy is reinsert itself into that bench for the Blues right now. So they're getting some chances right now. The shots right now are 15-12 in favor of the Blues, but it's a 1-1 game.
Well, St. Louis not been a strong first period team. Minus 10 now after tonight's hockey game and first period goal differential. They have tied this game at 1 as Boldy lifts a long pass ahead. It jumped over the tape of Eric Sinek at center ice, and it goes for icing on Minnesota with 11:02 left in the second.
Well, join the Minnesota Wild on December the 3rd as we honor those who protect and serve the state of hockey during Law Enforcement Appreciation Night, presented by Evolve. This special package includes an exclusive T-shirt and a donation supporting the law enforcement community. Secure yours today at wild.com/law. Face-offs deep in the Minnesota zone on the icing call.
Fox and Eric Sinek on it. Eric Sinek muscles it back. Joel Eric Sinek. In that home game against Montreal last Thursday, played just 3 minutes, 43 seconds, suffered that lower body injury. Or mid-body, I guess you'd call it. Boldy now. Kaprizov off for a drive by Middleton. Binnington made the save, a lot of traffic in front. Foxa to Toropchenko. And this play offside as Walker couldn't hold the line. And now a little rough stuff here. Middleton and Toropchenko shoving each other after the whistle.
You know, Middleton, he's still John right now. He was not very happy after he took that hit earlier from Walker.
And some chatter between Eric Sinek and Suter as the two teams separate. Timeout on the ice nearing the midway point of regulation. The Wild and Blues tied at 1 in St. Louis. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
You're about to come in to some best.
Be inspired by Joel and Victoria Osteen.
Best opportunity, best relationship, best health.
Hear motivational messages whenever you need them.
The best part of your life is not behind you. The best part of your life is the next part of your life.
Be inspired 24/7.
You haven't seen, heard, or imagined what God has in store.
On Joel Osteen Radio, Sirius XM 128, and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Robb.
With the Leafs, the fact that they're trying to change some things has made me not make it so life and death every day for this team. In the past, it was like, this is who we are, and then you see the matchups and it's not working out, and you're like, why are things not changing? Well, things are changing right now, and it's going to take some time to get all the way there.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Tampa Bay Lightning General Manager Julian Brisebois.
Can you tell us something about Nikita Kucherov, the player, the person?
He puts so much time working at his craft. He is looking to improve every little detail of his game, of his skill set. You know, he gets rewarded by being an all-time great player, and we get rewarded by having one of the best players in the world on our team every night.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Well, 10:39 to go here in period number 2. Minnesota left after the first period, led by a score of 1-0, but in the second period at 4:48, Perunovich gets his second goal of the season with Cairo, and Boldo picked him the assist on that. Right now the face-off is going to be outside Minnesota's defensive zone, right by the penalty box area. You know, you look at it, we always talk about, I think you mentioned before, Joe, about Cairo. He loves to play against Minnesota. 21 games he's played against them now. He's got 11 goals and 11 assists, 22 points.
He had that 4-point effort in the Winter Classic at Target Field, which helped the Blues beat the Wild on that blistery cold afternoon. Here's Boldy for Minnesota. So back to live action, carving through the high slot. His wrist shot tips and finds the netting.
Good ball with great hands also. As he came down the right side also, he started to cut towards the center of the ice. Good puck movement by him, getting the shot away, but deflecting that netting, and that'll keep the face-off deep in the St. Louis zone.
Boldy had a helper Saturday against the Stars. Recently had 100 career assists. That came late October in Columbus. 3-game point streak coming in for Matt Boldy. His line mate, Kirill Kaprizov, a 9-game road point streak entering this one. Franchise record is 10 by Kaprizov's line mate tonight in Joel Eriksson. Jake Middleton carries the Wild ahead. He'll walk his way in with the wrister, was blocked. And stabbed out the center. Thomas trying to hustle to it. Thomas with a good pass. Buchnevich has some room. Took a shot, missed it wide. Thomas to the carom.
Yeah, he had to rush that shot because of the fact that Brock Faber was coming from the side.
Boldy soars one along. Kaprizov tried to glove it down in the neutral zone. Schoenemann tied up by Kaprizov. Knuckling puck here in the blue slot. Eventually handled by Thomas. He's bumped by Boldy. Spurgeon holds in. Ran into his teammate Boldy. Both players go tumbling down. Kaprizov hacks one of the right wing boards. Boldy back to his skates, able to grab it. Fired a shot. Binnington the save, and he pulls it underneath him before the reach of Freddie Gaudreau could get there for Minnesota.
Yeah, good shot by Boldy. A very tough angle coming in from that right side also. But with that being said, Binnington grabs onto it. That'll get the stoppage.
9:32 to go in the second. 1-1 in St. Louis. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Traveling with the Minnesota Wild has never been easier. Introducing Wild Travel, a book seats experience, the official fan travel platform of your Minnesota Wild. It's your one-stop shop to bundle game tickets with flights and hotels, saving you up to 30%. With Wild Travel, you can customize your official Minnesota Wild package for any game and never worry about hidden fees. Plan your next trip today at bookseats.com. Wild Travel, a book seats experience.
Scoreboard update.
7 games total tonight in the National Hockey League. Games in progress include the Oilers in Ottawa. Oilers with a 4-1 lead midway through the third. Connor McDavid with a pair in that one. He's up to 9. Leon Draisaitl up to 14. Lightning and Penguins knotted at 2 goals apiece. 4:23 left to go in regulation. Remember over the weekend how the Panthers handed the Jets just their 3rd loss of the season? Well, the Jets took that personally. They lead the Panthers 2-0 now midway through period number 2. Blackhawks and Ducks, they're even at a goal apiece. Islanders and Flames just underway in Calgary. They are scoreless. Back to Joe and Tom.
Well, you mentioned Edmonton, you mentioned Calgary, and that's where Minnesota is going to wind up their way up north of the border. After this game tonight, they'll leave for Edmonton. That'll be the first of the 2 on the road in Canada. Bring your passports, of course, and they will. Right now, the face-off deep in the St. Louis zone. Tied up at 1 apiece, 9:32 to go here in the second.
Brodin, a shot off the draw, blocked down in front. Foligno looking for it. Binnington pulls it underneath him for a moment, then it snuck loose. The Blues have it. Toropchenko to Faksa. And then off on the right wing boards where it slipped in by Nathan Walker. Toropchenko there just ahead of Spurgeon. Spurgeon tied him up. Puck chiseled free. Good tip by Trenyon. They'll push it past Falk and carry ahead. Yakov Trenyon deep into the Blue zone, left wing side. Trying to wind it in front for Foligno. Not much there. Gaudreau hustles to it for Minnesota. Churned it around the end wall. Brodin raced to it. A shot blocked by Fox, and it goes way up over the netting and out of play. And now some rough stuff here as Fox and Foligno get in the mix.
Well, that may develop into something. We'll watch that and see what happens.
Fox comes by now after the linesman had gotten Foligno away from things, and he had some words after for the big boy Marcus Foligno.
Yeah, Kelly Sutherland and also, of course, the referees in this contest. James Tobias and Devin Berg are the linesmen. So that is going to keep the face-off deep in the St. Louis zone to the right of Binnington.
.58 to go in the second period. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Wild from left to right on your radio dial in the second. Being outshot 15-13 in a 1-1 game. Rossi, Hartman, Johansson with Chisholm and Bogosian. Rossi on the draw, try to feed it back. It's stripped away. And the Blues come ahead with Brandon Saad. Tossing it in from center. Back is Chisholm. Bounced it off his end wall, Bogosian. Served it along the board. Suter read it. Pinched in and keeps the Blues in business here. Neighbors now tied up by Bogosian. The puck trickles free for Chisholm, who outlets to Johansson. His pass is errant and stolen. Jake Neighbors, high slot, fed it back. Parayko, right side, carrying in behind the net of Gustafsson. Cole Parayko found Suter for a shot. It pinballed around, and the Wild get to it. Hartman skips it into open ice, but Neighbors gloves that down, keeping Johansson from a possible break. Johansson hustles to strip it back for the Wild. He'll spike it off his end wall. Bogosian into the wheelhouse of Husnudinov. Full head of steam from Murat Husnudinov. Cut through the blue slot, nearly split through a sea of blue. And St. Louis counters now off the steal. Texier turned it over. Husnudinov just peels it out the center. We're falling down was Matthew Kessel. That allows Johansson to gallop to it. Spiked one in front. And that hit a player on St. Louis. I believe it was Suter. And now it's sent into the stands by the Blues. And this will be our second delay game penalty of the night. One for each side.
Yep, that'll leave things up in that department. That'll be the second penalty of the game.
St. Louis penalty number 9. 2 minutes. Delay a game. Shooting the puck over the glass.
Delay a game, so Minnesota will have the power play as Texier goes to the penalty box right now. You also have Grenoble, France, played with the Columbus Blue Jackets last year, 78 games. He had 30 points, 12 of those being goals, but right now he's in the sin bin, and Minnesota's trying to get something going with the power play. They ranked 13th overall. They've scored 11 power play goals, and away from their own building, they ranked 13th at 23.5%.
Blues penalty killed 2 out of 3 Sunday, 24th in the league overall, shade under 77% on the year. And we get a look at Declan Chisholm replacing Brock Favors. Those two players swap on the power play back end. Chisholm here with a pass. It's tipped out the center. The Wild have to quickly reset. Thomas jumps off, replacing him Nathan Walker. Thomas out there for the defensive zone draw. Here's Boldy sauntering ahead for the Wild. Left wing pass for Jules Eriksson. Spun it to the point for Chisholm, who patrols the blue line. Declan Chisholm kicking one along the Boldy. Back to Chisholm. He'll hand it right side for Kirill Kaprizov. Eriksson in front of the goaltender Binnington as it comes back to center point. Chisholm refeeds Kaprizov outside the right circle. Threw one in front for a tip by Eriksson that went just wide. Hustling to it, Hartman. And the Blues take it away and wind it down. St. Louis hustles off on a change. 7:05 to go in the second period. 1-1 in St. Louis from Enterprise Center. Wild power play their first of the night. Had 2 power play goals here on October the 15th. Kaprizov, a blind rink-wide feed, and it'll ricochet out the center. Eriksson grabs it, stuffs it along to Hartman. He'll tap in, try and hustle to it. Eriksson pressuring as well. Falk one-handed and free. The Wild steal. Hartman to the point. Chisholm has a lane if he wants it. He'll feed Kaprizov for a shot. Blocker save Binnington. Boldy to the rebound. Curling along the left wing boards. Here's Matt Boldy. A tough angle shot. He rang it off the crossbar. Boy, an impossible angle, but with those hands, why not give it a try?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't sure if he was going to take the shot of trying to get it over to number 97 of Minnesota.
Wild carry back in. Second unit starts to step onto the ice with a half minute left on the power play. Johansson takes one away. Fed the point, Faber. Right side, Boldy. Back to the blue line for Faber. Tossed along Kaprizov. Shooting one. That blocked off Falk in front and caught the glass. Gaudreau then played one back to a vacated point. Toropchenko intercepts and speeds it down on his backhand. Gustafsson stops it, shakes it up ice for Johansson. Cutting back near his own blue line, he'll feed Faber. Dying second to the Wild power play. A bank pass from Faber connects with Johansson. Marcus Johansson over the blue line, charging in left circle, center for Gaudreau. Couldn't handle it cleanly. Parayko takes it to the corner, and then lost it to Rossi, but the power play is over. Marco Rossi, right wing hash marks for Minnesota. Wild 0 for 1 on the man advantage now. Middleton turned and shot one, didn't get much on it. Gaudreau rescues it for Minnesota. Freddie Gaudreau trying to center. Johansson had a tap free, and Texier will charge ahead, getting the Blues out of trouble here. Middleton closed on him and ran him to the ditch at center.
Good check by Middleton, no question. Just kind of backed into him, put him right down on the ice.
Here's Robert Thomas for St. Louis left wing side. Finding Kyrou, wheels through the high slot. Kyrou with a wrister blocked by Middleton. Look out, it came free for a backdoor try. And Buchnevich was tied up. Couldn't get good wood on it. It comes to the point. Perunovic hands it along. Dancing with the puck is Kyrou. All the way up near the blue line. Now shooting one. Blocked out in front. And Lauko left side off the top of the dasher and safely through center for Minnesota.
Yeah, good baby Lauko. Just get out of the zone when you're being pressured like that.
Blues come right back in. Kyrou finds the late help Perunovic, and he lost it. The Wild have numbers. It's Lauko with Husnudinov, maybe a 2-on-1. Bursting in, Lauko, right circle, took a shot, and he missed high and wide, and it finds the netting.
Oh, boy, but he took the right shot. Coming down there on the right side, left-handed shot, a little better shooting angle, but hits the net, the deflection, and that will get the stoppage of play.
4:41 left in period 2 in St. Louis. Tied at 1, the Wild and the Blues. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Every day starts full of promise, excitement, opportunity, but at the same time, every day can also come with a lot of curveballs. This is where Daily Pay can help. If you work on the daily, you should see your money on the daily. Daily Pay allows you to access your earned wages before payday. So, what's stopping you from making the most of it? Of waking up today and making that move or seizing that moment? Take control of your finances and find out if your company offers Daily Pay. Visit us at get.dailypay.com.
Hey Wild fans, Minnesota-based and family-owned Old Dutch Foods has been creating taste sensations for generations of hometown Wild fans for over 90 years. Stock up on your favorite Old Dutch game day snacks at your local grocery stores to make game day a win. Old Dutch is a proud supporter of Wild hockey. Let's go Wild!
Old Dutch potato chips. Old Dutch the snappy chips.
Old Dutch, quality lives here.
Snappy Old Dutch potato chips.
Getting the care you need when you need it should be simple. At Health Partners in Park Nicollet, our clinics, hospitals, and specialties are all connected to give you a streamlined experience. That's because our system-wide health record ensures everyone on your care team is on the same page. And every day we're offering more ways to make it easier to get great care. Like virtual visits, hybrid preventive care, online scheduling, mobile check-in, Save My Spot for urgent care, and more. Visit healthpartners.com/wild today.
Minnesota led this game after the first period by a goal by Hartman, his fourth of the season. Perunovic ties it up in the second period. That's his second of the this year's games that he has played. And right now the faceoff is going to be deep in the St. Louis zone.
Off the face-off, the Blues muscle it ahead. It tips past Spurgeon, returns to Chase. No icing here. The one linesman was looking back at the official through center ice. Arm was never up. Foligno now swings it free. Spurgeon resets behind the net of Philip Gustafson. Jared Spurgeon surveys for the Wild. Content to just sit back here. He has Brodin to his right. Spurgeon now starts out right circle. Long slap pass off the boards. Trenyon tips it in. Binnington out with his goal stick. Waited a moment, slapped it off the glass. Knocking it down was Trenyon. Try to fight it a bit further in the blue zone where Gaudreau goes to work for Minnesota. But now it's Fox to carry ahead for the Blues. 7 goals last year in Dallas for Foxy, smeared along the glass by Foligno. On a breakout, the Wild can't come out with it cleanly. Brandon Saad now for St. Louis, tries to center for Schoenemann. Schoenemann curls back at the blue line. His pass blocked by Trenyon. It leaks out to center. Corey Schoenemann back inside his own blue line now. Shaking with the puck, trying to dance past Trenyon. Trenyon not full, but Schoenemann's able to burst ahead nonetheless. It's handed back to Shen. Shen with a shot block. Neighbors a bit. He misfired in tight. I'm not sure how.
We had the wide open net.
Comes to Schoenemann, and Hartman blocks his wrister out of play, and you could hear the slapping of the stick along the boards from Jake Neighbors. A point blank, wide open cage.
Yeah, he is not happy at all. You could just get up into the gods after that one also, but just as you called it, Joseph, takes a stick and bangs it against the boards like, I should have had that one, and he should have, but he didn't. So it remains 1-1 with 3:26 to go here in period number 2.
Talked about the Blues' lack of shots per game near the bottom of the league. Well, offensively, they've been challenged as well. 2.47 goals per game is 29th coming in, and Drew Bannister, after their loss the other night in Carolina, talked about the need for them to bear down and finish some of their chances. Well, that's a prime example there. Hartman with an up ice pass. Rossi in with a shot. Kicked out by Binnington. Rebound kept in by Chisholm, and he paid for that as the puck kind of bounced on him, and Neighbors crunched him. Bogosian now swats one down low. Rossi, the first man to it for Minnesota. Out of left wing corner comes Rossi. He fed Johansson. His pass was tipped. Hartman able to grab it. Try to throw it rink wide. Rossi the point. Bogosian a shot, and that bounced off a body and deflected just wide. Braden Shen now back of his own cage. Pounds it along. Parayko to Neighbors, and he'll tip it free for Saad. Saad trying to turn Chisholm inside out. Back to help out defensively is Hartman. Now Braden Shen for the Blues. Pinned up by Bogosian. Saad swoops to it. Saad turning and shooting. Chest save Gustafson. Rebound tipped away from immediate trouble by Hartman. But the Blues have it again with Perunovic. Off to Texier. St. Louis trying to change here and keep the puck in the offensive zone. It's worked to the point. Perunovic to Falk. Left circle Holloway. Had to jump over his tape for a moment. Back of the blue line, Perunovic. Again to Falk. Once more, Scott Perunovic. Lots of traffic and bodies in front. The Wild doing their best to keep the Blues players from the sightlines of Philip Gustafson. Long shift here from Minnesota's defense. Bogosian tied up. Couldn't clear. Rossi sweeps at it. Couldn't get it to leave the zone. The Blues shoot it around the end wall. Johansson dead tired trying to pressure Falk, who centers for a shot. It's blocked. And it stays in play. Holloway chased by Bogosian. Dylan Holloway to the point, and a little miscommunication. This pass is out of stride, and back through center it goes. Fresh off the bench is Boldy. Wild can get a full player change now. Thomas Boldy swerves back in his own end. They'll launch it up ice to Jules Eriksson. Left wing side of Rister. Knocked away by Binnington. Didn't corral it cleanly. The Blues look to push the pace. Bolduc's pass stolen. Boldy crisscrossing, ran into Kaprizov. Somehow got it back for a moment and then smacked it free for Eriksson. Once more for Boldy. Back into the corner, Jules Eriksson. Again to Boldy. Wrapped up by Texier. No penalty call. Boldy stays on it. Dances around the net of Binnington and turns it to the point. Faber fakes a shot. Kicks it back to Boldy, who's got a lane. Firing one. It hit a body and never got through to Binnington. Boldy on it once more. Boy, punch, counter punch. These two teams in the offensive zone, CR.
Yeah, you're watching Boldy right now. He's just moving his legs solo right now, getting a couple of opportunities here. He still has to find the back of the net.
Blues send it down the ice, and it's icing on St. Louis with 58.3 seconds left in period 2. And the Blues are going to have some tired players who are trying to change up to come back out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, Tom Reed's hotline returns tonight after the second period. Now it's even easier to get involved, so simply text in your comment or question to 64686. That's 64686. And tonight we'll be giving away a pair of tickets to the next home game, November the 25th, against the Winnipeg Jets, who are having a terrific season north of the border.
Is that your personal number that they're texting?
Yeah.
Usnadinov and Thomas on the draw to the right of Binnington. Usnadinov tried to squeeze it free. Thomas leaned it back. Parayko lumbers ahead. Spurgeon tried to cut off his path. Parayko chops it in. Wilder back for Brodin. Good feet up ice for Kaprizov with Usnadinov going to the front of the net. Suter, a bit of a cross-check on Kaprizov, but what's new there? Kaprizov now from Usnadinov trying to center for Lauko, and that was stripped away. So an extra shift here for Kaprizov. Late in the period, going out there with Lauko and Usnadinov. Thomas for the Blues off to Cairo. He'll wheel it into the corner. Final half minute now of the second. Kuchnevich pinned up Brodin. A centering pass came out, and Gustafsson a strong stick save. Kuchnevich and Brodin still tied up back of the net. As a feed up ice for Lauko goes too far, and it looked like he was going to win the foot race, but they call it icing on Minnesota, and the Wild bench is up in arms.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a lot of talk right now between these two teams. You don't see a lot of emotion in the games anymore. Not like they don't have quite the fighting, which is okay. But you like to have the physical contact between these two teams. That's what you're looking for. Minnesota, of course, the old North Stars, and the St. Louis Blues both came in the league in 1967 in the expansion year, going from 6 to 12 teams.
Draw to the left of Gustafsson, the final seconds of the period. The Wild win it back cleanly. Spurgeon launches it ahead. Kaprizov tipping it. Hits Usnadinov with 8 to go in the period. Peeling up right side, shooting one. It was going wide. Binnington gloved it. Tried to drop it off to keep the clock moving, but a whistle halts play. So 5.5 seconds on the clock. 17 shots aside. It's 1-1, and one last offensive zone draw for Minnesota to round out period 2.
And this is a very important face-off. 5.5 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot can happen in that length of time. We've seen it before.
Eriksson to take the draw. He's sort of directing traffic here. Now Boldy telling Middleton, line up here.
Yeah, Minnesota's only won 35% of the draw so far in this hockey game.
So 2 to the left of Eriksson, Boldy to his right, Faber back at the blue line. Shen on the draw for St. Louis. Eriksson ties up Shen. The Wild try to dig it free, they do, but Boldy couldn't come out cleanly. A quick shot by Kaprizov near the buzzer. Stopped by Binnington, and now more rough stuff. Middleton right in the middle of it. Now Binnington, of course, as we've seen so many times, throws a glove onto the back of Middleton's helmet. Then he kind of bails out. Gustafsson up near the red line, doing a slow skate and glaring down the other end of the ice.
Well, we always know when there's anything physical, Middleton's going to be right in the middle of it. You see there's going to be any penalties called in the play. There may not be, but Binnington actually just pushed kind of against the net and then goes to the back where he didn't try any nonsense other than the glove, a little bit of a glove. Face wash, they call it.
So, after 2 periods of play, it's 1-1. The Wild scoring in the first, the Blues netting 1 in the second.
So teams have separated. They're both going to the locker room right now.
Garrett Spurgeon out at center ice talking to one of two referees. Might have a call here.
Yep.
St. Louis penalty number 63, Minnesota penalty number 5. Both players receive 2 minutes each for roughing.
So there you have it. We'll start period 3, 4 on 4. Hoping to have a player interview for you shortly. It's 1-1 after 40 in St. Louis, plus a Tom Reed's Hotline. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this NFL season.
A classic AFC North matchup gets Week 12 underway with the Steelers in Cleveland to take on the Browns. The Steelers come into the game as just a 3.5-point favorite. Can the Browns play spoiler at home despite the rough season so far? Make sure you tune into Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air.
Alex Ovechkin!
The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
Kevin Cheveldayoff, Winnipeg Jets. What the heck's with this Kyle Connor? I'm curious what you saw and how it's evolved.
His offensive instincts, really just top end. It's just been one of those guys that, play me with this guy, okay. Play me with that guy, okay. In these last couple of years, he's learned to have the layer of the defensive structure as well. That's just made him a much more complete player.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And nobody in Winnipeg wants to say it, but I'll say it. Connor Hellebuck did not play the level he's capable of in the playoffs. That's a big part of the equation. Connor can play better. He's one of the best goalies in the league. The Jets have been told by everybody but me, I want that noted, I got this one right, that everyone said they're going to take a step back.
Under review with Mick Kerr. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Tampa Bay Lightning General Manager Julian Brisebois.
Can you tell us something about Nikita Kucherov, the player, the person?
He puts so much time working at his craft. He is looking to improve every little detail of his game, of his skill set. He gets rewarded by being an all-time great player, and we get rewarded by having one of the best players in the world on our team every night.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Savored responsibly.
Through 40 minutes at Enterprise Center, the Wild and Blues are knotted at a goal apiece. Coming up, we got Tom Reed's Hotline. Get your questions, comments, whatever else is on your mind. Text them into 64686. Again, 64686. You got a great shot at winning a pair of tickets to see the Wild and Jets next Monday at XL Energy Center. That too a Central Division collision, as is tonight. How'd the scoring in this one go down? Well, let's go back to the first. Wild break it open. Parayko slips the wrister under Bennington's right pad. 12:24 of the first. Wilder on top 1-0. Give Rossi and Faber the helpers. They've scored first in 13 of 18 games this season. That's a good sign going into the first period. Through the first period, Wild holding on to that 1-0 advantage. Go to the second, though, and a local kid pulls it even.
Breakout pass for Holloway, and then Bolduc to Cairo. Weak side D. Perunovic has a lead, and he scores. Second career NHL goal for Scott Perunovich as he was the trailer coming late. He rifled it under the crossbar. It's 1-1.
The former UMD Bulldog gives a tip of the cap to Pat Micheletti because he's also from Hibbing. Gets his second of the season. 4:48 into the middle frame. We're even at a goal apiece, and that's where we sit through 2 periods of play. Philip Gustafson stopped 7 of 8 in the second. 16 saves total through 2 periods. 17 saves thus far for Jordan Bennington. Thus far, both teams 0 for 1 on the power play, but there were a pair of roughing minors assessed at the horn. Jake Middleton and Jake Neighbors, both in the box, 2 minutes each for roughing. So that gets you up to date through 40 minutes. Now back out to Enterprise Center. Tom Reed is with Wild forward Marco Rossi.
Well, the end of 2 periods, Minnesota led after one, a goal by the Wild, obviously, but all of a sudden St. Louis comes back and ties up 1 apiece. This is a very difficult game also, Marco. You look at the way these two teams are going back and forth. Not a lot of free room out there.
Yeah, it's not really easy out there. We know the game they want to play, and I think we just have to stick to our game and keep battling, and I think, if we do that, our bump comes.
I go back to that goal by Hartman also, and you really made a heck of a play there. That was your 10th assist on the year, but take us through that goal that Hartman scored.
Yeah, it was a good break. We have to play quick against them, and that the weak side guy has to slash over on the other side. I think Archie did a job on that. He slashed, and I just tried to find him. He had a lot of speed, so it was a smart shot.
Yeah, it looks like there's no love between these two teams right now, the way they're going at it.
We know what they want to do, and they know what we want to do. So it's a tough game today, but just to keep battling and pushing.
Okay, Marco, we'll let you get the locker room, get ready for your 3rd period. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Marco Rossi, our guest here, and Kevin, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Tom, for joining us in the intermission. Marco Rossi will get a gift certificate down at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. Reception is always flawless down at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. Whether you're trying to do an interview, talk on the phone, watch one of those great big screen TVs, perfect reception down at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. After 2 periods, the Wild and Blues are knotted at a goal apiece. Tom Reed's hotline is coming up after a break. Get in those questions now. 64686. We're giving away Wild tickets when we continue. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Hey, I'm Eric Church. I'm taking you inside my very own Nashville hospital, Chiefs on Broadway, for a one-of-a-kind full band live performance. This will be the first time you can hear me live from Chiefs, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, exclusively on my channel, Outsiders Radio. Listen at home on Alexa, Google Home, smart TVs, and anywhere on the SiriusXM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air. The NHL on SiriusXM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on demand with the SiriusXM app.
The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to SiriusXM.
Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of SiriusXM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL Final.
That's right, Heather. We'll be taking you through every thrilling moment live from Kansas City.
Join us as we make history at the 2024 NWSL Final on Saturday, November 23rd at 8 Eastern.
And it's on SiriusXM FC channel 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
It's time for Tom Reed's Hotline. Text in your comments or questions to 64686. You could win fabulous prizes, including dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or wild tickets to a future game. And now, Tom Reed's Hotline.
Ton of questions already flooding the inbox. Get yours in now, 64686. Tom Reed out there in St. Louis. Wild and Blues tied at 1 apiece. Let's jump right into it, Tom. You're out there in St. Louis. A 651 area code wants to know, what do you do in St. Louis during your downtime as you wait for the game to start?
Well, we spend all day actually working on stuff, Kevin. Coming down here in the morning, we're down here with the players on the bus, and they have their escape, but we also listen to the home coach. We talk to some of the players who are down here. We try and find Ryan Suter, but he keeps hiding on us, so we don't know how he sneaks out of that dressing room without us seeing him. But the day is pretty well spent, just preparing for the game, just like the players do as well.
How about the night before then? Let's go back 24 hours. You land in St. Louis, you're on the bus, and you got time before the morning skate the night prior. What do you do?
Well, last night I actually went out with Tommy, a friend of mine, and I was in his wedding many, many years ago. Of course, he's the director for the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, and his son Tom Jr. works for the sports that covers the Twins and covers the Wild, that covers the Timberwolves and so on. So it's a family that has been involved in sports their entire life, but I had a chance to visit with him last night for a couple of hours before going back to the hotel.
Very good. From the 507 area code, you remember when the North Stars and the Blues both came in 1967? I don't remember that. I remember there was a pretty fierce rivalry back in the 80s for sure, probably back in the 70s as well. What do you remember about the Blues-North Stars rivalry back when the North Stars were still in Minnesota?
Yeah, it was a great rivalry. It really was. It was very physical. I mean, in those days, fighting was allowed. There's a lot more freedom for the players to do some of the things you're not supposed to do. The officials would let you know. They would warn you, if you do that again, I'm going to call you, and they would give you some warnings. But the physical part of the game was really there. Of course, you had the Plager brothers. You have Noel Picard, who was like 6'5" and a heavyweight. And it was really a lot of fun going back and forth. And both teams played really, really hard. It was one of those situations you remember. And I remember also, Kevin, that my first pro game was I was a junior age, and they brought me up to play with the St. Louis Blackhawks, which was the farm team of the Chicago Blackhawks. And I played in that game, and I came out on the ice, and the ends were all glass, but the sides were chicken wire along the boards. I mean, so when you run into somebody, if you actually got your hand on the back of their head and pushed a little bit, you might help them make contact with that chicken wire, which didn't feel very good. And of course, we didn't have helmets or face masks or mouth guards for the most part in those days.
That sounds unpleasant. Tom, going back to the North Stars documentary, Chuck Preston noticed that you were very much involved in that, and also knows that you've got those ties to the North Stars. You also have ties back with this new Minnesota Wild team dating back to the year 2000. I say new, but still, 25 years old. Which do you prefer, North Stars or Wild, to set you up for that one, Tom?
Well, obviously I love both of them because as a player, you really appreciate being on the ice and being a part of the activity of it taking place and being during the regular season. Then you get in the playoffs and so on. We haven't seen that much of the St. Louis Blues in Minnesota yet, but it'll come. It takes time to build this stuff, and you don't always get to choose who your running mate is going to be at the end of the year. Who are you going to battle with at that point? But back in those days, there's only 12 teams. Now you got 32 teams in the National Hockey League, so it makes it a little more difficult to try and get those matchups.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Reed with yet another Tom Reed's Hotline. Best question at random. Tell you what, Chuck, you're going to get a pair of tickets to see the Wild and Jets in St. Paul next Monday when the Wild return to home sweet home. You want tickets? You didn't win? Well, you can always listen to Tom Reed's Hotline, but tickets are available. All you got to do is go to wild.com/hockey tickets. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Still with it. Here's a one-timer and a score!
Sirius XM 91.
Hartman for the Wild, Perenovich for the Blues. 1-1 after 2 periods of play. The decisive third period is next. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
You have a plan for your business and a vision for its future. So it's important to have a banking partner that works to understand all of your goals and what it will take to help you reach them. Work with a banker who is dedicated to listening first and providing insightful, personalized advice that's right for you and your business. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Hey, Wild fans, fall weather is knocking on our doors, and you know what that means. Chilly days are just around the corner. That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable, friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your furnace running efficiently no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems. And ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
So, after you lift weights, your body keeps burning calories for hours post-workout.
Oh, like a BMO Savings Builder account.
What?
With BMO, I can get a reward every month I save.
So, you're getting an extra reward for the work you've already done?
Exactly. Plus, BMO gave me a cash bonus when I opened a checking account.
That's a flex.
This is a flex. Check out these pythons.
Pump up your savings with BMO. Conditions apply. Learn more at BMO.com/kickstart. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
BMO.
Third period from St. Louis. 4-on-4 hockey to start. It's a 1-1 game between the Wild and the Blues. With Tom Reed, I am Joe O'Donnell. Blues certainly have had their stretches of success in this game. Same, though, for Minnesota. Tom, it's been a good one.
Yeah, it certainly has, Joe. When you look at these two teams also, when they're tied after 2 periods, Minnesota's been tied 6 times. They've gone 3-1-2, so they put points in 5 of the 6 games. The Blues just one time, but they won that one game also. So right now, the next goal could be the final goal of this hockey game. So you have to play it very smart, obviously not giving up very much on the defensive side of things.
Here's Faber to Kaprizov, trying to center on a return pass for Faber. That glances to the corner. Robert Thomas pushes the pace the other way. He'll attack in the Wild slot, right circle, fired one to the back post. Hit Parayko skate and sails out of play. 34 seconds gone by in the third. Wild from right to left on your radio dial in the third. The Blues from left to right.
Yeah, Minnesota got a pretty good record also in that third period. They've scored 24 goals, giving up 19. They're +5, but the Blues are -9. They've scored 15, but they have given up 24 goals. So see what happens here. They mean nothing to the players right now. That next goal could be the one that gives the team 2 points in this hockey game.
So Middleton and Neighbors in the penalty box for their respective sides. Those Miners coming in the 20-minute mark of the second period. The Wild 4-0-1 following a non-win this season. Having gone back-to-back games without at least a point in the standings. As we're near the 20-game mark of this young season. For the Blues, this is their 20th game. As Boldy attacks right side in the St. Louis ice, trying to shake away from Perunovic. Matt Boldy waits for some late help. Sent it rink wide. Chisholm grabs it off the left wing boards, carries around the net of Binnington. Angling now one back of the point. It's Spurgeon. Handing it off Rossi, left circle, cross ice. Boldy a shot! And Binnington came across, made a terrific glove save. Spurgeon fires it in the right wing corner for Boldy to try to go to work. With the puck hit the referee's skates, and that allows Perunovic to grab it for St. Louis. Off to Buchnevich, and then back to Scott Perunovic. Boy, Boldy, Tom, every time he's on the ice has an impact, it seems.
Yeah, and he's such a smooth skater also. He handles the puck so well. He's got great hands, stick handling, his ability to take those shots and to make something good happen. He's a very positive player when he steps on the ice. Offside call is going against the Blues right now. That'll bring the faceoff outside Minnesota's defensive zone. We played 1 minute and 38 seconds in this hockey game.
Fifth game against the Central Division for Minnesota. They're 1-1-2. Blues 0-3-0, all on home ice. Yeah, losses, sorry, Tom, to the Wild, to the Jets, and the Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, my fault there. 1:38 in the third period, not in the game.
Puck ends up back in the Wild zone. Gustafsson out to his left, shifts it off his end wall. Brodin trying to get away from Saad. Just chucks it back for Faber. Once more, Brodin. Jonas Brodin cutting through his own slot. Peels it back to Faber again. Coincidental penalties are over. Back to full-strength hockey for each side as Kirill Kaprizov gets the Jets going. Cuts one of the left wing boards. Eric Sinek charging in, try to center. It's blocked. Toropchenko with that partial intercept. Eric Sinek back on it. Right point Bogosian. D to D. Chisholm a shot. Tipped in front by Kaprizov. It whistled just wide. St. Louis turns it over at center. Chisholm floats back in. Johansson on the forecheck. Parayko stuffed it along Nathan Walker, trying to clear out. His pass was blocked a couple of times. And now Parayko giving one away. Chisholm a hurried chance from along the left wing wall. And Binnington able to salt it away after he made the save and it kicked off his end boards.
Yeah, Chisholm has done a nice job with Minnesota. He and John Mayer are kind of splitting that extra defenseman. As the coach talks about it all the time, we don't have a seventh defenseman. We have 7 defensemen who can play. So who's number 7? Doesn't matter. Both those guys getting a chance to play. But Chisholm very fluid out there. Plays with confidence. Doesn't seem to get rattled.
29 games with the Wild last year after they claimed them on waivers from the Winnipeg Jets. Trenyon a shot from long range. That's soared wide. Left point Bogosian keeps in. Paddles it into the corner where Kessel and Foligno tie each other up. Now Trenyon bothering Foxa, but Foxa did well to lift it free for Corey Schoenemann, who's played outstanding according to his head coach Drew Bannister. Limited action just called up from AHL Springfield. Here's a shot by Foxa. Gustafsson handled it awkwardly, but it's under his left pad. Will hang on.
Because Gus is so focused on where that puck is coming from, he just reaches over that big left mid of his and grabs onto it, and that'll get the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone once again. To the right of the Minnesota netminder. And boy, Gus has been so good with his team. You know, the fact when he came in last year, it didn't look like he was ready physically or mentally, and he had a very off year. It's a lot of the whole team did, but he has come in to play this year and certainly been the top goalie at this stage of the game this season.
League leader in goals against coming in, Philip Gustafsson. Perunovic off the draw, left point. Saunters it down low for Kyrou to wheel out of the corner, back to Perunovic, and he couldn't hold it in. It's offside as he tried to fire a long wrister, but the officials blow the play dead.
And of course, the coaching change made in Boston today. Jim Montgomery out as their head coach, and one of the problems, of course, calling out his players publicly, and that means that Joe Sacco is going to get a chance to come in. He's been with that team since 2014 as the assistant coach, so he'll get a chance. Minnesota's after tonight. We've got Edmonton and Calgary, and we should before we return to St. Paul. St. Louis Jets, they're off to the East Coast. They're going to play against the New York Islanders, the Rangers, and the New Jersey Devils. When they come back for a game, then they got 4 more in the road. So they've got quite a stretch. Of course, we've seen that this year already from the Wild standpoint.
Blues outscored on home ice, 29-20 coming into this game. As Faber wheels out left side, play one up top, a long shot by Kaprizov. Missiled wide, Middleton attacks, he'll fire one. Eric Sinek the tip, Binnington the save. Boldy to lose change. Up top, Middleton. Swept along for Faber. He'll wait, stash it off the end boards. Grabbing it, Kaprizov, but he checked nicely by Justin Falk. Eriksson Ek then rams into Thomas. Kaprizov then clipped up high in a penalty call.
Yeah, it's going to be a high stick on that one. Now the question is there any type of an injury that's going to create a double minor? But Kaprizov is up right now, and he is recipient of that hit, and here's the call by the referee.
St. Louis penalty number 72, 2-minute minor for high sticking.
And so Justin Falk goes to the penalty box right now, the youngster out of South St. Paul. He was with the UMD, the Bulldogs, when they won their national NCAA title back in 2011. That was his only college career back then. But right now he goes to the box. Minnesota on just their second power play this hockey game.
3:48 the time of the call. Again, Wild power play top unit featuring Declan Chisholm instead of Brock Faber. John Hines lauding the instincts of Chisholm. Did run the power play a little bit last season. His hero feed Boldy. Pass jammed him a bit. Boldy unable to come up with it. But then he dove. Great effort to hold in. Kaprizov off an Eriksson Ek pass. Stuffed it free. Hartman a shot. Rattled around in front. Kaprizov to the rebound. Looking for some help. Found Boldy. Boldy spinning to his forehand. A shot blocked. Blues can't clear. Great keep by Chisholm. Somehow he reached up and kept out that lasering puck. But it's a hand pass on the Wild. Boy, that was a scrambly sequence, Tom, of the Wild trying to get it to the blue paint.
Yeah, I tell you, they were moving the puck so well around that the St. Louis net, but at the same time, it was more of a squat of the puck. It wasn't so much a hand pass, but it was knocked with the hand to a teammate, so that's the reason for the call. So that'll bring the face-off outside the St. Louis zone.
Rossi, Goudreau, Spurgeon, Faber, and Johansson. So the second unit comes out somewhat early after the Wild's top group had a shift that drew the penalty. Blues muscle it down the ice. Gustafsson leaves it on a tee for Brock Faber. Faber played over 26 minutes on Saturday against the Stars. Now Johansson feeds Rossi. He'll chisel it in. Johansson bunts it around the boards. Left point Spurgeon. Backhand forehand. Across the blue line. Here's the Wild captain Spurgeon. Right circle pass, Rossi sends it back up top to Spurgeon. Once more Rossi, again to Spurgeon on a one-touch feed. Spurgeon fakes a shot, wheels along the stripe. Down low to the right wing corner is Rossi. From the goal line, back to Spurgeon, a one-timer blocked. Hit Fox and clangs out the center, and the Wild have to reset.
Yeah, good block also. Fox was able to get that puck, goes all the way down to the Minnesota zone. Still plenty of time.
Blues penalty kill able to change. Goudreau through center ice. Hands it off behind his back. Marcus Johansson rumbles in. He'll feed Rossi. A backhand pass to the left point. Spurgeon back across the green. Hits Rossi carrying in right side. Pivots up. Now to the point for Faber. Shuttled back along for Rossi. Down to the goal line, Johansson tried to muscle one of the back posts. It was blocked, and Schoenemann launches it down on a good effort.
Good play by Schoenemann. Just gets to the puck, gets it all the way down. That allows both teams to get fresh players on the ice.
Down to just a dozen seconds. Wild change up their troops one more time. Brodin to Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov wands over the puck, darts into the blue zone, right side, sprays some snow. Shook one loose to Boldy. Boldy right circle, a wrister blocked out in front and hit Eriksson Ek. Kaprizov to the carom. Power play is over. He'll find Boldy for a shot. Kick save Binnington. And Justin Falk out of the penalty box. Failed on his clearing attempt. Boldy holds in. Trying to go rink wide. It was blocked. That hit Falk. Comes right back to Boldy, who centers. It leaks up to the point. Middleton's got a right circle. Took a shot. They score! It was tipped in front. And the Wild have pulled back in front of the Blues in the third. It's 2-1 Minnesota.
Yeah, once again, controlling the puck in the offensive zone. And what a play by Middleton once again. Here's a guy who's really stepped up. He comes in from the right side, left-handed shot. He takes a shot and they look like hit the crossbar there, just underneath the crossbar, and goes in. And with that, Minnesota has taken the lead. And that was an even strength goal. And it comes at 6 minutes and 7 seconds of the third period.
What a deflection by Kirill Kaprizov to run his road point streak now to 10 games, tying a franchise mark. Middleton let it fly. Kaprizov reached out. He was a few feet from that puck and around the crest of his jersey, or the A on his sweater. He was able to tip it across the ice and into the far corner upstairs.
You know, his hand-eye coordination is absolutely unbelievable. You just watch the things he can do. I never thought he'd be able to get to that puck at all, but he got a piece of it.
Lauko carries in. Got it up to the point, Bogosian. And now back of the net, Husnadinov finding Chisholm. And Middleton and Boldy, the helpers, on Kaprizov's 12. Lauko tries to center. Texier takes it away, and Bolduc gets it out for Holloway, and now off on the right side, Alexander Texier, who jammed on the brakes in the wild zone. Feathered it back in the net where Bogosian tried to come up with it. He couldn't. Bolduc to the point. A hurried shot stopped by Gustafson. Traffic in front and a loose puck. It squeezes free and leaks down below the Wild goal line. Texier forced it up top. Kessel trickles it back to Alexander Texier. His long wrister went wide, came off the end wall. Good stick by Lauko as Schoenemann was trying to sneak in and grab that chance. Wild back in their own zone. Chisholm off his end wall, banks it free. Bogosian's got some real estate with both teams changing.
Yeah, you can see the grouping, so how close everyone was, and all of a sudden now Minnesota has spread out a little bit. That allows a lot more room for Minnesota to move with that puck.
Zach Bogosian smacks a right wing indirect pass that Trenyon steers in. Bennington out in the trapezoid-shaped area to swoop it along for Falk, who's stapled to the glass by Marcus Foligno. So moments after the power play expires, the Wild take the lead for the second time in this hockey game. Kaprizov from Middleton and Boldy. Spurgeon watched by Braden Shen. Those two go to the corner. Now Brodin to golf it around his end glass. Falk holds in at the blue line. Got it to Shen. Shen back to Falk for a shot blocked out in front by Brodin. A 2-on-1 for the Wild. It's Brodin and Foligno. Jonas Brodin leading the rush, coming in right circle with a shot. And a blocker save by Bennington.
Well, a good shot by Brodin, no question about it. Rebound came right over by Foligno, but he was not in a position to take it.
Blues counter. Neighbors off a drop pass. Sent it back down low for Perunovic, but nothing there for St. Louis. But John Hines said this morning, the Blues are a great rush team. And we've got to have good tracking, a good gap in the neutral zone from the defense. And to be honest, Tom, I know there's still 11-plus minutes left as Kyrou here steals. Jordan Kyrou left circle for St. Louis in the offensive zone. And now at the point, Suter a shot. Buchnevich deflected that just high and wide. But Blues have not had much of a rush game so far. That was a chance there off the save by Bennington moments ago. But the rush really never materialized. Brodin helps the loose puck out the center, and the Wild need a change.
Yeah, when you're in trouble like that, Brodin does a good job just getting the puck out of the zone there. That allows Minnesota to get some fresh players on the ice.
Parayko just hauled down Hartman after Hartman got a stick in a passing lane. Play continues. Kyrou darting ahead for St. Louis over the blue line. Jordan Kyrou right side tries to center a backhanded flip shot by Parayko. Hit Faber and went high and wide.
Yeah, and Perga's got that big frame also. You look at his size, he's 6'7", I believe, and he's one of those guys that gives that height there. 6'6", 228 pounds.
Boy, he is well-rounded. His offensive game continues, it seems like, to improve as his career moves along. Blues send one in from center. Comes off the end boards. Toropchenko, a little backhanded try. That hit the outside of the net to the left of Gustafson. Eric Sinek on it. Foxa wraps him up. Bogosian sticks his nose into the scrum. 10.5 minutes to go in the third in St. Louis. The Wild 2, the Blues 1. Still no whistle along the end boards. The scrum continues. It's jabbed free. Bogosian trickled it between his legs. Boldy had some trouble with it. Spun off some pressure. Tried to clear out. Couldn't. Penalty call coming. It's going to be on Boldy, who came in a little high against the glass on the Blues player. And the arm up from the official. Let's see.
Yeah, they're discussing it right now. Here's the call.
Minnesota penalty number 12. 2 minutes for high sticking.
Well, Boldy's going to be calling the high sticking call. That was in the defensive corner of the Wild, but Minnesota will get a chance to get a little rest before the puck is dropped.
Nearing the midway point of the third, the Wild 2, the Blues 1. St. Louis to a man advantage after this from Enterprise Center. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on Fantasy Sports Radio. Unbelievable! Don't make the wrong roster move. Don't start the wrong player. Don't make the mistake that will cost you a win.
Don't get cute once you get to the fantasy playoffs. Start your best players.
Whether you're jockeying for playoff positioning or need a win to secure your spot, get expert advice on Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius XM 87, and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest plays.
What a save!
Hits.
Oh, hard hit.
Goals.
McDavid scores!
Tune to NHL Network Radio for the most in-depth hockey talk on the planet.
He is the GM of the Minnesota Wild.
Insiders.
The revenues and the big business.
And the best analysis on the air. The NHL on Sirius XM. Hear every team and your hometown call. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on demand with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Fort Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Well, things are evening up on the penalty department. This is the second penalty for Minnesota in this hockey game where the St. Louis Blues will have a power play once again. They're 0 for 1. Minnesota also 0 for 2 on their opportunities. Face off deep in the Minnesota zone.
Blues for 0 for 2 and allowed a shorthanded goal to Lauko the last time these two sides got together. Quick clear down by the Wild PK. The Blues have to reset. Binnington leaves it for Justin Falk. Halfway home in the third, the Wild 2, the Blues 1 in St. Louis. Joe O'Donnell, Tom Reed with you. Robert Thomas swings one back. Kyrou over the blue line. Fed Thomas again. He'll punch it back of the net. Looking for Bogosian, right wing corner. Had it stripped free. Kyrou trying to center. Bouncing puck out away from Thomas. And Trenyon just able to barrel it through neutral ice. And the Wild PK hustles off on a partial change. Trenyon got his stick in a passing lane. It knuckles into the Wild zone, the left of Gustafson. Middleton wrapped up momentarily. Thomas holds the line on a failed clear. Now Buchnevich right circle to the back post and scores. Neighbors with his stick down. And Jake Neighbors has scored in back-to-back games. This hockey game tied at 2.
Yeah, Minnesota failed to clear from their own zone and just take their time, and putting the stick in the right position at the right time leads to the Blues goal with the man advantage, and their power play has not been very good. They ranked 29th coming to this game. They had no power play goals at Carolina and just 2 in their last 9 games. So that will even things up right now. They're just getting your stick down, as you talked about, Joe, getting the stick down in a position where you can just redirect it. They were not able to push out anyone out of the way there, and with that, it's going to be the goal going to the Blues. And Neighbors does a good job getting his 6th goal this season.
There's a discussion over by the Wild bench with the officials and John Hines, and we'll see if there's... And the Wild are going to just let play continue as John Hines looked at Patrick Dwyer for some guidance there. My assumption is Dwyer has the earpiece back in the video room with Jonas Plum and TJ Ginger, and they said, nope, nothing there worth challenging.
Yeah, you want to do that because you challenge and lose, and then you're going to be shorthanded again.
9:23 to go. Neighbors scored Sunday, hadn't scored prior to that since October the 26th. He's now got 4 points his last 7 games, including the equalizer here. So Chisholm feeds Bogosian off the one faceoff. Will hack it along for a tip ahead by Ben Jones. First ever game with Minnesota, 3rd per NHL game as we touched on earlier. Lauko behind the net on the cycle with Husnadinov. Off of the right point is Bogosian. Bogosian sweeps it around the net, cutting it off Kessel. Lauko hounding him. And now Holloway for St. Louis. Dylan Holloway to Schoenemann. Schoenemann launched it ahead. It tips in. Gustafson just pulls it under his glove with 8:50 to go.
Yeah, Thomas, that big roar you heard, but Thomas getting back into the fold here with this hockey game after being out with that fractured ankle. But he picks up his 6th assist of the season, but Neighbors will have 7 assists now on that redirect by Neighbors, who picks up his 6th goal.
So twice the Wild have led by 1, twice the Blues have pulled even.
Well, right now, the draw would be very much appreciated, I think, by the Wild trying to win that draw. They have won 43% of the draws in this game at this point.
Face-off numbers have dipped the last handful of games for Minnesota. They were outdueled by the Stars Saturday at home. Saad off this draw to Parayko, right side, a shot. Glove save Gustafson. May have been going wide, but Gustafson able to just catch it and hang on. And a timeout here. 8:42 left in the third. Good one in St. Louis. The Wild and the Blues knotted up at 2 apiece. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
As a business leader, every day brings countless decisions. Some big, some small, some easy, and some you need to sleep on. Work with a banker who gets you, gets your business, and can help you make the right decisions to meet your goals. So you're not just navigating between choices, you're planning your success. Work with Bremer Bank, because understanding is everything. Put us to work for you today at bremer.com.
Hey, Wild fans, you want your family to be warm and comfortable during our Minnesota winters, right? That's why it's good to know the knowledgeable and friendly dealers at Bryant Heating and Cooling who will do whatever it takes to keep your heating system running safely and efficiently, no matter what the weather throws at you. Plus, score up to $2,600 in tax credits on qualifying Bryant systems and ask about rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Find your local dealer at Bryant.com. Bryant, official heating and cooling company of the Minnesota Wild.
Scoreboard update.
We got a final in Ottawa. The Oilers blow out the Senators 5-2. McDavid and Draisaitl combined for 6 points, each of them with 3 points on the night. Oilers now are 4-1-1 in their last 6, and they've won 2 straight on home ice. Wild will be in Edmonton 8 o'clock on Thursday night, pregame at 7:45 on most of these same stations. Saturday, they'll be in Calgary. The Flames trail the Islanders 1-0 right now at the Saddle Dome, and another final has the Lightning over the Penguins. They use overtime. Braden Point, pair of goals, including the overtime game winner. That's it. Back to Joe and Tom.
I have a feeling, Joe, that when we get to Edmonton, that the boys wearing the Oiler jerseys might be ready for this contest coming up. Of course, McDavid and Draisaitl, the 2 key components of that hockey club, having another banner night, 3 points each, as Kevin pointed out.
Gaudreau and Shen on the draw. Blues win another one. Falk to Perunovic, a shot. Hit Trenyon, kicks to the left of Gustafsson. Foligno offers it through center. Where Falk goes D to D. Perunovic snaps it up along the right wing boards. Neighbors on his backhand sends it in. Brodin back, shifting it along. Spurgeon pressured immediately by Braden Shen. Spurgeon able to come free. A pass, though, by Trenyon was stolen. Blues have it here, bottom of the left circle, with Brandon Saad. Saad looking for the weak side help. The late man coming in there was Falk. He has to regather it. Spikes it behind the net. Neighbors, who just tied the game at 2, grabs it. Gaudreau to try and pin him up. It squeezes free. Crisscrossing through center ice are Trenyon and Foligno. Yakov Trenyon gains the red line and soars it in. Foligno's the first man there. Checked, though, by Perunovic. And the Blues break it out. It's Kyrou. Just inside his own blue line, carries ahead and taps in. Faber hustles to it. Was tripped up partially. Made a great play from his knees to work it free, and Eriksson Ek outlets. Kaprizov now finding Boldy over the offensive blue line. Boldy looking for Eriksson Ek. Pass a touch too far. Eriksson Ek then rocketing one towards the slot. Parayko absorbs that. Cuts around his own net. Carries the Blues ahead. Colton Parayko shoots one off the dasher. And the Blues in on the forecheck. Middleton to reverse for Eriksson Ek right side. Sent it off the glass. Didn't leave the zone, however. It is Kyrou. Into the corner for Thomas. Middleton meets him with a body check. Just over 7 minutes left now. Kaprizov to Boldy. Matt Boldy patiently waits at center and then flops it in. A little bouncer that Parayko is able to get to. Send it up the boards. Hit the referee. And Kaprizov takes it from there. Kaprizov turning and trying to rifle one in front. That's blocked. Thomas gets it out the center. Jared Spurgeon for Minnesota. Along to Jonas Brodin. Snapped the pass ahead that ricocheted free, but the Wild are offside.
Moving the puck as quickly as they possibly can. Obviously, tape right now. You're down to 6 minutes and 49 seconds in this contest. It's tied up at 2 apiece. And every time you step on the ice, you have to be aware of what's happening out there, who's on the ice against you, what your job is. As you get to this point in the contest, 1 goal is going to separate these 2 games, I would imagine, these 2 teams in this hockey game.
Mentioned earlier, the Blues 6 comeback wins, tied for 3rd in the NHL. They're also top 5 in the league when allowing the first goal and finding a way to win. And they're also top 5 in the league when trailing after 20 minutes, which they trailed 1-0 here tonight after 20 minutes. Offside of the Wild, trying to reset off that neutral ice draw. St. Louis has done really well in 1-goal games. They played a ton of them. And this one right now is shaping up to possibly be another 1-goal decision. Another draw won by St. Louis as Tom Reed shakes his head.
Well, puck control is so important. It starts with the face-offs.
Rossi Comes through center ice, works it in. Bennington with his goal stick. To Fox. Looking for Toropchenko. The pressure of Hartman denied that. Johansson got to the point. Spurgeon. Over to Brodin. Loads. Fires. He scores! Jonas Brodin with a blast! He beats Bennington short side. And the Wild have a 3-2 lead with 6:16 to go.
And that's Brodin's second goal of the campaign also this season. You look at him right now, 247 points now in his career. He missed the last couple of games, but nice having him back in the lineup and gives Minnesota the lead here. As Joe pointed out, with 6:16 to go. So this goal officially comes at 13:44 of the third.
The Wild on the forecheck. Tom dug a puck free. They got it up top, went D to D, and Brodin had room. He took it and then absolutely blistered one short side, and Bennington threw his head to the rafters after that one leaked past his right arm.
You know, in the last couple of years, he's really picked up his pace also. That one gone to hit the defender coming in there. I'm not sure if we got a piece of him or not, but most important for Minnesota, it's a good goal.
Second goal in the last 4 games for Brodin. As Tom said, second of the season.
Scored by number 25, Jonas Brodin. Assisted by number 46, Jared Spurgeon. And by number 90, Marcus Johansson. Time of the goal, 13:44.
Spurgeon now a 3-game assist streak as the puck ends up in the netting in St. Louis ice. And we'll break for the final time in regulation. 5:57 to go. The Wild 3 times have had a 1-goal lead, including this instance here. Up 3-2 in St. Louis. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
At Anderson, we understand the challenges of builders and contractors better than most. Here's proof from real pros.
The best service department is the one you don't need, right? But when you do, I know they're going to be there.
The 400 series has earned my trust to the point where we have put it in our own home.
When somebody says Anderson, everybody responds quality.
Helping builders and contractors craft their legacy. Anderson, the #1 trusted window and door brand. Claims based on 2022 Anderson brand surveys of U.S. contractors and builders.
Tommy, can you hear me? Join us each night for Tom Reed's Hotline. Hotline. Simply text in your comment or question at 64686. That's 64686. One lucky fan will win dinner at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub or a pair of tickets to an upcoming Wild game. You can't win if you don't send in your question. So text Tom right now at 64686 and listen to tonight's Hotline.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Yeah, 5:57 to go here in the third period. Minnesota with the lead right now, 3-2. That goal by Brodin, the second of the season, with Spurgeon getting number 6 in the assist column, and Johansson gets his 4th assist. Face off deep in the St. Louis zone right now. Minnesota has really got to control the puck here. Under 6 minutes to go in this contest.
Off the draw, Faber a shot. That whistle just wide. Shots are 26-22 Minnesota. St. Louis sends it the length, icing on the Blues with 5:49 to go.
Yeah, and that's where you want the face-off, back in the blue zone here right now. It's interesting also, Minnesota coming in this game was number 1 overall in the National Hockey League in goals against average, 2.33. They're the second fewest goals against at 40. Number 1 is the Rangers, but they played only 16 games compared to Minnesota's 17 games coming in this contest. And they're number 3 in the save percentage also at 91.8. And a lot of that rests with the goaltender. Gus has been so good. He's got the support of his teammates out there, too.
Buchnevich turns a puck over. Kaprizov through the high slot. Took a shot. That glanced off Eriksson and went just wide. No surprise there. Eriksson right at the top of the goal crease once more. It's like there's a magnet there for him, Tom.
I think the magnet in his skates coincide with that blue paint.
Eriksson deep in his own zone now. Spun off some pressure, laces one along for Boldy, who has it blue line left side, now able to carry through center and steer it in. Wild change behind the play. Kaprizov leans on Parayko, pushed it free for Ryan Suter. Suter knifing it along for Saad, bumping into him Ben Jones. Now Parayko just inside his blue line right wing boards. Chopped it along. Chisholm takes over. Feeds Jones. Jones rushing in. Left circle a shot. Binnington the glove save.
Nice play by Chisholm once again. He's going backwards, but he's got the puck, the presence of mind to move it ahead to his teammate to bring the puck back into the offensive zone once again. And keep the face-off deep in the Blues zone. A lot of empty seats here in this building tonight.
Well, and Philip Gustafson salted away the 4-1 win with the goalie goal on October 15th in the building. There's about a third of the crowd here still to see it because many had gone packing. Headed home. Under 5 minutes left now. Wild in front, 3-2 in St. Louis. Saad finds Neighbors. Numbers here for the Blues. Shen a shot. Missiled it wide. Gustafson hardly flinched. Kessel keeps in. Load shoots one block. Bouncing puck out away from Saad. Comes back to Kessel now. Hacked along. Shoot him in a bid. Kick save. Gustafson with traffic in front. Saad rushing the puck. Back at the point. Schoenemann fakes a drive. They'll label it along for Kessel. Kessel fires, penalty, maybe. I don't know, maybe just an injury stoppage. Blues player in a heap, Shen. No arm up from the referee, but they blew the play dead. And St. Louis is going to be frustrated here that the whistle blew. And unless one of the linesmen saw something, Tom, I don't think a call's coming.
No, I don't think there is either. It's the captain of the Blues was Shen, who's checking out his mouth guard. So Kelly Sutherland talking to the officials out there. But there was no indication when the referee there was a penalty.
Well, Chisholm's stick blade caught him up in his teeth, it looked like, as he was coming through the slot.
He got lots of teeth.
Shen dropped, and he is not pleased that there was no call.
How many teeth do you need, really? That'll give the face-off deep in the Minnesota zone.
The crowd now getting a look at the video board, and they're voicing their collective displeasure. Steve Ott, one of those assistant coaches, a rugged player from his playing days, appears to be barking as well. Brodin behind his own net for Minnesota off the one draw to Foligno. Tied up, though, by Justin Falk. The puck stays in Minnesota ice. Brodin reverses. Spurgeon lost it. He turned it over. Perunovic read it. Tried to center. Spurgeon blocked it just wide. Perunovic back on it. Scott Perunovic up top for a shot. Breaking his stick as Falk. The puck and stick go into the corner. At least the blade did. Blues stay on it, though, with Nathan Walker trying to cut past Brodin. Brodin partially poke-checking Walker, who feeds it up top to Falk, who just got a new stick. He'll label it down low looking for Bolduc. Under 4 minutes to go now. Wild in front by a goal. Spurgeon kills a play in his D-zone, crunching into a Blues player, and Trenyon on an outlet comes ahead, fires one that hits a body and ends up in the St. Louis bench, and then Perunovic takes a swat at Foligno. I'd say that's ill-advised, but he can do what he wants, I guess.
Well, he certainly can. Whether he really wanted to do that, I'm not sure. This will be a little bit dicey, I would think, in the next 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Foligno never wanted to shy away from any part of the physical contact out here.
Line change for both sides.
Yep.
Blues had
the linesmen are all over the place. They're picking up pucks and broken sticks. I assume it's going to go deep in the St. Louis zone again.
Just about to say, Tom, the Blues had 9 shots in the first, 8 in the second. They have 6 here in the third for a game total of 23.
Yeah, face-off will be in the neutralized area just outside the defensive zone of the Blues.
Note that because on October the 10th, the Blues had a season-high 40 shots in San Jose. They've had 31 or fewer shots in every game since. A team that last year and really 2 years ago had a lot of depth scoring. As here, a shot by Thomas catches the glass. Parayko, right side, keeps in. He'll feed Ryan Suter. Suter a bid, hit the outside of the net off a deflection. Blues trying to hunt it down. Buchnevich to Thomas. Thomas on his forehand, banked one off Gustafson's goal stick into the slot for a shot by Kyrou, and that missed. And to the loose puck, Joel Eriksson finds the weak side D Faber. He'll tap ahead Kaprizov. Faber driving the net. Kaprizov spins up, looking for some late help. Rolled it rink wide. Faber back across the green. Kaprizov just makes a safe play, curling it down low. Goldie let it come free for Eriksson out of the left wing corner from low to high. It's Brodin who has the difference maker right now. 2:50 to go. Goldie in the offensive zone down below the goal line. Tried to center, was blocked. Rattled right back to him. He'll turn and try and shove it down low, then eventually centered as he couldn't get that rimmed puck to work out. Wild keeps cycling here in the offensive zone. Rossi sends it back around right point. Spurgeon just chops it. Rossi will get there again. Valuable time ticking off the clock here, and the Wild are in the offensive zone.
Absolutely kill the clock as much as you can.
Hartman now a long wrister. That skips off a body, finds the netting. 2:26 left. Offensive zone draw coming up for Minnesota, leading 3-2 in St. Louis.
Yeah, big time right now. I would think one of these teams are going to call a timeout pretty soon here. 2:26 to go. We'll be watching Bennington and see when he can get out of the zone. But Minnesota did a nice job that last, 45 seconds to a minute, just controlling the puck in the offensive area. Goaltender won't come out right now because the faceoff is right to Bennington's right.
Rossi, Hartman, Johansson, Spurgeon, and Brodin for Minnesota. Rossi and Shen on the draw. Rossi won it back. Left point, Brodin fakes a drive, angles it down behind the net. Perunovic cut it off just ahead of Rossi, and now Schoenemann gave it away. Spurgeon just holding it in at the right point. They'll wind it deeper, and the Blues another try to come out, and they finally will. Brandon Saad over the blue line, barely onside as Shen just able to straddle the blue line. Saad with it. Goes rink wide, Perunovic. Left point. Floats it in the corner. Spurgeon grabbed it, bounces it off the boards and all the way down. Trying to win the foot race is Johansson, but Saad's there first, and it's icing on Minnesota. A minute 53 left. We'll see if Bennington heads to the bench or not. As he goes for his little figure skate there.
Well, they got to wait and see who's going to win the draw, first of all. And possibly, if the Blues can win it, and they've won the majority of the draws in this game, now he's getting close to the bench right now. They've decided, come on in now. We'll use the extra guy in the offensive zone, which is a smart move in the coach here.
No timeout called yet. Foligno bangs his stick on the boards, making sure all of his teammates on the ice recognize Bennington's been pulled here for the extra attacker. Off the faceoff. Rossi guided it back. Taken off the puck, though, is Brodin at the point. Falk. To Shen, back to Falk, barely keeps the blue line. He'll feed it left side. Kyrou, back up top to Falk, 100 seconds left. Shen, a one-timer, missed by a mile. From outside the right circle, and it skips back out the center.
Could Gus do it again?
Wild need a line change. Shen on the regroup, finds Jake Neighbors. Neighbors hounded by Eriksson Ek, spins it around the Wild end wall. Faber let it come free. Kaprizov tipping it loose. Kaprizov's got an empty net in front of him. He scores! Kirill Kaprizov! A 2-goal game in St. Louis. It's 4-2 Minnesota late in the third.
Well, once again, controlling the puck in the defensive zone, comes around the boards, and there's Kaprizov, and he's got a nose for the net. We know that. This one comes with 1:23 to go, and the faithful few are lining up the aisles to get out of here right now. But Kaprizov does a good job once again, as we see it time and time again. He just reaches out, able to knock the puck off the boards, step around the defender, and then on the forehand, he takes a look, puts it right in the center of the net. They have a 2-goal lead.
John Hines has said that Kaprizov isn't out there for empty netters. He's out there because he cares so much about the defensive part of the game, and he doesn't cheat the game at all. Oh boy, he's a good guy to have out there with the empty net.
Yeah, he certainly is.
And the puck's on his stick. So 2 goals in the third for Kaprizov. The Wild have a 4-2 lead. Toropchenko off the rush, wristing one. Gustafsson makes the save, hangs on. Bennington is back between the pipes. I think Drew Bannister goes back about 5 weeks and says, I don't want this goalie shooting at my empty cage again.
Yeah, and you can't disagree with him. And Minnesota's done a nice job also. When you look at their record, scoring the goals and what they're able to accomplish, and Kaprizov was always on the ice at the end there when good things were happening.
Kaprizov, a 6-game point streak, 10-game road point streak. Now 12 multiple point games for the Wild's superstar. Came in second in the league in points behind only Nathan McKinnon.
1 minute to play in the third period.
Kaprizov had played fewer games. Foligno sends it in. Trenyon on the forecheck against Schoenemann. Now Perunovic labels it alone. Left wing corner, Schoenemann. Try to chuck it ahead. Not much behind it. So he reverses back for Perunovic. 44 seconds left. Wild leading by 2 at Enterprise Center. Toropchenko lays it in. Back to grab it, Faber. Trying to tip it free away from the pressure of Foxa. Left wing boards Foligno in his own zone. Pushes it through his own slot. Faber's got some time and space. He'll charge ahead and then flip it softly into St. Louis ice. Both teams change on the fly one last time. 22 ticks to go. It's all Minnesota here. The Blues, not much going. Down by a pair. Kessel flips it in. Gustafson came out, couldn't stop it behind his own net, clearing it off the boards. Ben Jones left side, and this puck comes out the center ice where Jones knuckled it free. Holloway sends it in. Gustafson knocks it down, skates it behind his own cage, springs it around the left side, and the horn sounds. The Minnesota Wild still have yet to go back-to-back games without at least a point in the standings. They have taken 2 in St. Louis in the season's first 6 weeks. A third period effort for the Bucks here tonight. The Wild 4, the Blues to the final in St. Louis.
Yeah, a good effort by Minnesota. The thing is, you look at Minnesota, they're adept at scoring goals into those empty nets, and they sort of like to see them out there. But that's the 8th time this year that Minnesota has scored a goal into an empty net. And twice in the last 2 times that Minnesota's been here at an empty net goal. So with that in mind, Minnesota right now congratulating their netminder, and deservedly so. He kept them in the game when he had to, especially early on, and Minnesota feels very comfortable winning 2 points in this one. Now they get to head north of the border up to Edmonton and Calgary.
In 2 games this season in this building, the Wild have totaled 5 third-period goals. You go back to October the 15th, it was 2-0 Minnesota after 40. They win 4-1. Tonight, 1-1 after 40. They win 4-2. And now the Wild have gone 6 straight games with 2 goals against or fewer. And on the road this year, they've given up 2 goals or fewer 9 times. They did it just 18 times all of last season on the road. And the 12 wins through 18 games for Minnesota, tied for the most in franchise history as they improved tonight to 12-3-3. And Tom, again, they find different ways to win, but it all starts between the pipes.
Yeah, it really does. In the beginning of this hockey, you can see the Blues came out. They were very strong at the beginning, and Gus held them in. Did what we had to do, and let's keep the puck out of the net. But Minnesota also always seems to find a way to capture the points when you play against a team like the St. Louis Blues. And Minnesota does a good job all the way through here. You always learn when you play a game like this, but Minnesota's going to find a much bigger, effort coming out of the Edmonton team coming up here in a couple nights.
The Blues just 1 win in their last 7, 1-5-1 in that span. They've given up 3 or more 6 times in the last 7 games. The only time they didn't was their lone win in that stretch in Boston back on Saturday night as St. Louis drops to 8-11-1 on the season. Any other final thoughts?
No, just an effort, and you expect that. But you expect your goaltender to make the saves. He did that, and eventually you're playing against a team that really has struggled, and Minnesota found a way to win. And it was just because the effort of Minnesota has some players with a lot of pedigree that can make those good things happen. I think it starts with Kaprizov certainly in the front end.
So the Wild get a couple of third-period goals from Kaprizov, sandwiched in between the eventual game winner from the man they call Jimmy, Jonas Brodin, at 13:44 the third, and Philip Gustafson again terrific in this hockey game as the Wild win it 4-2 in St. Louis. They've come in winning just 3 of their last 12 in this building, and that includes the game earlier in the season series. Now all of a sudden they have back-to-back wins in St. Louis and 43 all-time victories over the Blues. Again, Minnesota now 12-3-3 on the year. That's going to do it for this portion of tonight's broadcast. My thanks to Jim Jackson, our engineer here at Enterprise Center. Kevin Fulness, Colin Landsteiner back in the Twin Cities. Great work by them, as always. For Tom Reed, I am Joe O'Donnell signing off. The Wild 4, the Blues 2. Minnesota kicks off the road trip with another win away from home. Now 8-1-2 away from St. Paul this season. We will see you a couple nights from now in Edmonton as it's McDavid and Draisaitl and company, the defending Western Conference champs, against the Wild for the first time this year. Kaprizov 2 goals in the third. Wild double up the Blues 4-2. Stick around for the postgame show. It comes your way next. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by XL Energy.
This is John Hines, head coach of the Minnesota Wild. Don't go anywhere. I'm joining shortly to recap everything from this one on the Minnesota Wild postgame show.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.
This is Jonas Brodin of the Minnesota Wild.
And I'm Brock Faber. Don't miss us in action right here all season long.
The road trip continues this week in Alberta. Thursday night, the Wild are in Edmonton with a 7:45 pregame. Then on Saturday, due to Gopher football, the Wild and Flames will be heard on Cool 108 in the Twin Cities, starting at 2:45 in the afternoon.
Listen to Tom Reed and Joe O'Donnell every night,
exclusively on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
Texas Spirit started with Tito's handmade vodka. Back in the 90s, we had a dream as big as our home state. With grit, determination, and heart, we broke ground on the first legal distillery in Texas. Today, at the center of the craft spirits movement, we're still Texas-made and Texan-owned. Our copper caps line the shelves, and we fill glasses with the smoothest juice around. Remember, just because it looks like vodka doesn't mean it tastes like Tito's. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, Wild fans, this is Brock Faber. The XL Energy postgame show is presented in part by
Toyota, Anderson Windows and Doors, your Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers, Catalyst Supply Co., building materials and install support. Boost your build.
Crank it up. Wild hockey starts now.
So angles a free Podia shot. He scores!
Tria Orthopedics, official team physicians of the Minnesota Wild. XL Energy, proudly powering the great state of hockey with safe, clean, and reliable energy. And by Acrosure, helping you take care of what you care about. Find out more at acrosure.com.
Coming up, all the post-game reaction from this one, plus you'll hear from the head coach.
This is John Hines, and now, live from the Bob Kurtz Radio Center, here's Kevin Fulms.
Gustafsson knocks it down, skates it behind his own cage, springs it around the left side, and the horn sounds. The Minnesota Wild still have yet to go back-to-back games without at least a point in the standings. They have taken 2 in St. Louis in the season's first 6 weeks. A third period effort for the Bucs here tonight. The Wild 4, the Blues 2, the final in St. Louis.
The Wild get the both points here after, like Joe said, a strong third period. They double up the Blues 4-2 and now have won 11 of their last 15 overall. Tom Reed is at Enterprise Center. Kevin Fulms back in St. Paul. And quite the third period effort there, Tom. And any number of guys you could point to for being the catalyst of the game on this evening.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. And you look at these two teams. We're going to meet again in January the 7th in St. Paul, and then on January the 15th, both in St. Paul. Both the games against the Blues are done here. Minnesota won both of them, scoring empty net goals in both those games, but they get the 4 points, which is so important. But Minnesota right now just get ready for their next game, which is a couple nights away. Don't get much of a rest here. They will travel tomorrow and see what happens up in Edmonton.
Before I ask you about your catalyst of the game, let's talk about the two guys that returned to the lineup. Jules Eriksson, a +2, 19 and a half minutes of ice time, 3 shots on goal, and, of course, logged some heavy minutes. And the guy that ended up with the eventual game winner, Jonas Brodin, comes in after missing 2 games with an upper body injury. Both of them important factors tonight.
Well, he is my catalyst of the game also. I was going to give it to him, but the fact that he missed 2 games and comes in here and plays beaucoup minutes with his hockey club, winds up getting the game-winning goal. I mean, how good is it for him also to feel good to be a part of the team once again? And he gives that leadership back in that blue line, which is so important.
You mentioned that there might be a little bit of a stronger push come Thursday as the road trip continues. The Wild are going to make their way to Alberta, and it looks like Connor McDavid all of a sudden is reignited. He's never been a problem, but it feels like he's taking his game to another level, and the rest of the team is following him.
Well, of course. I mean, he's such a dynamic player. You look at him and Draisaitl together, but this is a team that's going to create some havoc, certainly, once again. But you look at where Edmonton is in the standings. They're a little bit lower than they want to be at this point. They were number 5 overall in that Pacific Division. That'll probably change by the win they had tonight, but we'll see where that goes once everything else is done. But they're a good hockey club, a solid hockey club, and they're still feeling the impact of losing last year in game number 7 against Florida, so for the Stanley Cup. So we'll see what happens there.
All right, Tom, we'll talk to you Thursday from Edmonton.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Tom Reed at Enterprise Center. He delivers Tom Reed's Catalyst of the Game to Jonas Brodin. The Catalyst of the Game is presented by Catalyst Supply Co. Building materials and install support. Boost your build. Brodin ends up with the eventual game winner, 13:44 of the third. Puts the Wild on top. Kaprizov scores into an empty net. The Wild skate to the 4-2 victory. They now have 27 points after 18 games, the most in franchise history through that point in a season. Now 12-3-3, grabbing 27 out of a possible 36 points. Good stuff for the Wild overall on the road and anywhere in between, and hopefully it continues later this week in Alberta. Before we preview that, we'll take a break, and then we'll get you John Hines' post-game comments, Joe O'Donnell down by the Wild locker room, and much more. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
When Dave Matthews Band closes out an historic year,
it's no wonder that they have arrived here at the Hall of Fame.
You'll hear it live.
It is such an honor to share the stage with these guys.
DMB Radio's 2024 Friday Night Concert Series finale, live from Madison Square Garden in New York City, Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, exclusively on Dave Matthews Band Radio, Channel 30. And the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Fort Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Entertaining night of hockey, if I do say so myself. Always better to come out on top for sure, and that's what happens for the Minnesota Wild. It was Ryan Hartman's fourth of the year that broke the scoreless tie midway through the first. The Blues answer when UMD's Scott Perunovich, I better mention he's from Hibbing, ties the game at a goal apiece early in the second. That's your score through 40 minutes. It's 1-1 in St. Louis. Kirill Kaprizov scores his 12th of the year at the 6:07 mark, gives the Wild back the 1-goal advantage, but Jake Neighbors, a little backdoor tap-in, evens the score at 2 apiece at the 10:37 mark of the final frame. That's when we come to Jonas Brodin. Misses 2 straight games with an upper body injury, but says, hey, don't worry, I've got a bomb at the end of my stick, and it delivers tonight's Toyota shift of the game.
Fox looking for Toropchenko. The pressure department denied that. Johansson got to the point. Spurgeon over to Brodin. Loads, fires. He scores! Jonas Brodin with a blast! He beats Binnington short side, and the Wild have a 3-2 lead with 6:16 to go.
Huge goal. Spurgeon and Johansson get the assist. Brodin misses 2 games, but in the games that he's played, he's got 2 goals in the last 4 contests. This one's the game winner. According to the nerds who keep track of this stuff, I don't know if it's accurate, but my stats tell me it was an 84.8 mile per hour bomb from the rim, the top of the rim of the left circle, just thwarts it under the crossbar for Jordan Binnington and delivers the Toyota shift of the game. Presented by Toyota, official vehicle of the Minnesota Wild. Speaking of Jonas Brodin, he'll be with Joe O'Donnell when we continue. And, of course, as promised, John Hines also right around the corner. This is Wild Hockey presented by XL Energy.
The National Women's Soccer League Championship game is coming to SiriusXM.
Hey, it's World Cup winner Heather O'Reilly of SiriusXM FC. Join Jessica Charman and me for the first national radio broadcast of the NWSL final.
Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit take on Marta and the Orlando Pride.
Join us as we make history on Saturday night at 8 Eastern.
And it's on SiriusXM.